All right. One, two, three. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the actual podcast. I almost don't even know what to call this, but right now we're going to call it Get Out of Your Feelings. How about that? We're going to get out of, which means we're going to really get into our feelings. But with all of that said, let's just get right into it. First of all, my name is Michael Dean. I'm joined here today by Mr. Ant Pooh. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing good as well as can be. My baby girl is happy running around at the kid's birthday gig next door, and I am childless right now.
Okay, okay. I feel you on that. That's the simple joys in life. You ain't got to do nothing.
Just I
All
just I just got back from walking over there like, hey babe. She was like, I ain't gotta go. I'm like, no, you ain't. You stay right here.
right,
You keep your butt right. Hi, Mia's dad. You can call me Mr. Anthony. I'm getting used to that. I am getting used to that as well because I'm used to when you speak to the elders, you put the Mister in front of their name or you Mister in their last name. Now I'm like, damn, I'm the elder. Shit,
yeah,
because now I'll be like, yeah, you call me Mister Anthony. Got to rear him up right.
gotcha, got yeah. You just beware though. Have the same energy. Unfortunately, when you go to pick her up and she doesn't want to go, she doesn't
Okay.
want to go with you, but would rather go. Why are you so kikiing with the other father, the other your co-friend? What's this? But anyway, telling on myself. Also joining me today, Mr. Big Sexy and Sack, and we got him live on the camera as well. What's up, sir?
Yo, what's going on? I apologize for looking off to the left here. I am downloading a couple of things on the desktop, and so yeah, I see you all, and I'm well. I have some news on the
Oh, okay.
professional front. All right, I'm gonna be as vague as I can be. I was speaking to my client up in your neck of the woods, Mike, yesterday, and
Okay. Well, I know who this is.
he tells me that he is a part owner of a certain catalog that has just been acquired by a certain rapper. I'm not going to name any names. Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay, but I'm not going to name any names. And he said, Mark, we're going to start divvying this up for distribution and licensing and all that. And I'd like you to do the negotiation for me. I'm like, done, done. So I know all about that catalog. I know the genesis of it. I know where it went when certain people went away. I know who it went through and where it is now. I'm ready. He said, even better, Mark, we're going to be doing an event in October for that person, and you need to come down and roll through it. I said, where? Beverly Hills? Yeah, I think I can make that. I think I can roll through Beverly Hills for a little bit. So this is going to be good. Global Dominance 2023 continues.
All right.
Yes.
I'll let them figure that out. All right. A shout out to he may jump in here, Q Storm, but if he comes in, he'll comes in. If not, salute wherever you are. But let's get into it. It's been a minute. There's a lot. Uh, let's just jump into the first thing is some Prince news. We got the release of some new music the estate put out. Specifically, it was two tracks. One called All a Share Together Now, and then the other was 7E flat version. These songs have previously been made available through the last celebration at Paisley Park. They were handed out as these really cool cassette tapes that had actually like a USB drive inside. You can plug it into your computer and play them that way. So they came out that way, and then they have promised that they would be released out into the world. And so here they are. They are out now. I see. Well, first of all, let's say this. I think I've already reviewed the tracks myself, so I'm going to see what you guys thought about them. But I see that people are really kind of like, I don't want to say nitpicking because people take cover art serious, but I'm seeing a lot of people that are calling out the cover art uh, of these two releases, which is not something I would have anticipated But wanted to just throw that out there. But with all of that said, we'll go to Big Sexy first. What did you think of these two tracks?
Well, I heard them. I heard the seven. I'm going to call it a remix or whatever you want to call it. I heard that last or a couple of weeks ago during Celebration, and I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a different vibe, a different vocal, you know, and again, E flat. So I'm listening for the changes um, in the key, and you can hear it. It is a step and a half to a step lower, and I dug it when I downloaded last night from my favorite site. I noticed initially it sounded really, really hot. Really like the
Mm.
volumes are pressed into distortion. And I thought, no, I did something wrong here. Turns out my parametric equalizer was not set properly on the laptop. Once I straightened that out, we're all good. It's still a little hot, but no distortion. As for I can't remember the other song. Share
All
to all,
share,
share to all together.
right?
I don't know. I could see a little Rainbow Children vibe there. I liked it. I don't know why he didn't release that. But then again, I don't know anything he does or did. I liked it. It should have come out a little earlier than this. It's a good song.
Yeah, I actually like both of them. I really like the seven, sort of that take on it. At first, I was saying I liked it better than the album version. I don't know if I feel that way now, but it is a great, a different take on it per se in terms of the music. All the shared together now is cool to me. Um, I don't love it, but I really like it, and it's a grower. It's growing on me. That song, I believe, dates back from like 2006.
Mm.
It would have been around the time of, well, I think it was a little after the 3121 album came out that this one was made. But Aunt Pooh, sir, what did you think of these two tracks?
Well, first with the seven, it's very jarring because I feel like one is just a little bit too busy what's going on because you hear the original that Mediterranean Arabian um, music instrumental in the background, and then you have I guess his flip remix version of it where you hear a little bit more of the keyboards of the bass, and it's very I think you could definitely groove to it, but for me, it's just overwhelming because I feel like too much is going on. The other thing is the vocals, which I like to this sense of it's just not his original recorded vocals thrown over this, and it's actually a different take on it. Again, I think I probably need to listen to it a little bit more before I really can say I like it or I think it's good because when you have what almost 30 years of listening to the original, it can be very jarring to have this different version and can just immediately say, yeah, I love it. Now, as far as excuse me, all is shared together, that's a groove. That is a groove. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. It's like because I heard it off and on over the last week or so, and I'm really not too sure about the lyrics or whatnot. But that groove, I am feeling, especially that bass that's going all the way through it. I
Mm.
mean, I know Prince fan. Oh well, get over it. Y'all gonna hate what I'm saying. I could see Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, maybe even Q, Snoop, if you got him at the right moment, just dropping some ill verses over it. That's how good that music and that rhythm is. He did the damn thing. And I said earlier, it's giving me some Rainbow Children vibes. You're telling me it's 2006. That's around what? Planet Earth, which, hey, go ahead, send your hate mail to me. He has some good. That was Planet Earth. That's around Planet Earth, right? 2006. Or is that
Well,
31?
was that 3121 had just
Okay.
came out when you made
Okay.
this?
Well, never mind it. 'Cause I was gonna say something. I was gonna be like, yeah, he ain't got nothing as ill as that on Planet Earth, other
Wow.
than somewhere here on Earth. But yeah, I could definitely see he did some damn things. You have Satisfied, 3121, Fury. This fits uh, somewhat with that. So I'm gonna add it to the playlist and try to give it a really good listen to and see if I can say, yeah, that's one of those hidden gems like we saw with what a lot of the songs on Welcome to America.
Okay, okay. I can kind of it does remind me of that. I guess musically, it really kind of fits into that zone, at least to my ears. But no, I mean, it's just to hear some new Prince stuff. I'm happy, like, because it's been a while. Like, what was the last thing we got? Was God, what was the last
Wasn't it
release?
the Purple Rain
Yeah, the
remaster?
Purple Rain. The no, was it the live Revolution Live?
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
mean. Yeah.
Revolution Live. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's been a minute. That's been a while. Yeah.
But Anthony used the word jarring, and then he said the original 7 came out 30 years ago. I'm like, God damn, it was that long? Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Woo,
Wow. Yeah,
woo.
that's wow. But I'm glad they did put it out. I think on the actual cassette packaging thing that they gave out during the celebration, it said volume 1 on it, which I'm wondering, does that mean there's going to be more stuff? There was a press release that came out with this release, and they did mention that they were going to make some more announcements in August of more music releases. So we'll see. We'll see.
Let me throw you guys a curveball and call an audible right quick. I was speaking to a colleague and a friend of mine this morning, and he asked me the question: Al Green or Marvin Gaye? Why? I said Marvin because Marvin's my guy. You know, the guy did What's Going On and followed that with Let's Get It On. So no disrespect to Al, but Marvin's that album is transcendent. That's just me, gentlemen.
There ain't no disrespect to Al Green. Marvin just has the bigger and diverse catalog. And
Mm.
he I would say he's the voice of an era between 71 to 77. And then he had that period from 82, 83 with sexual healing. So
Mm.
again, no disrespect. I actually finally listened to Hear My Dear. Bruh was in Bruh was in his feelings and he took it out in the studio. I was like,
Yeah, he did.
God damn, okay. But sheesh, he did the damn thing. So again, Al Green, he's one of our iconic elders. He got 6 gems. I'm saying me, 6 gems that I totally F with, but
Mm.
it's unfortunately, I mean, come on. I can't even say unfortunately. It's Marvin Gaye. I mean, how many people gonna really be mad that said that Marvin Gaye is better than you?
Good point.
Well, I would say, because you didn't necessarily give us any way to judge this, I'm just gonna go for my own personal, like, what would I play, or would I play more?
That's all we need, man.
I'm gonna pick Al Green. Though I agree with everything Ant just said about Marvin Gaye. I think to the world he's more prominent and all that. But to me personally, I just feel those songs that I like of Marvin Gaye better, and I play those more than I'm sorry, of Al Green than I do of Marvin Gaye. Like, sometimes be alone. That's just like one of my songs, Love and Happiness. Uh, so for
Don't
me,
punish me with brutality.
yeah.
That's what's up.
But Marvin Gaye's got way more everything. But that's my pick.
I have a love hate with Love and Happiness because I grew up in the hood. I was in the apartment building, and on the other side of it was another apartment building. And every Saturday and or Sunday, I would get woken up to someone blasting the hell out of Love and Happiness, and I'd just be like, "God damn!" Now, when I was young, I was like, "What is this country bumpkin bull?" But now
Wow.
that I said again when I was young, remember 13, 14, 15, 16. But as I got older, I'm like, God damn, he know what he talking about. I felt everything about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I can feel there's so much emotion. I mean, there's a lot of emotion in Marvin Gaye too, but it's just a different type of thing with Al Green's. But yeah, Marvin Gaye's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And dope musician,
Yeah.
you know. All right. I know I was gonna ask, just also going back to Prince real quick. Are you guys listening to any Prince as of late? And if so, what?
Lately, I've been to a couple of things. And I'm going to put on my audiophile snob hat here for a moment.
Yeah.
Um, I've been listening to a lot of Steely Dan early stuff in high resolution, and you can see where these studio dudes back then were just always in demand. That led me to some James Brown, and that led me into my Sign of the Times deluxe vinyl. And I've been just mining that like a, like an old prospector out there panning for gold because there's so much in it. And like
Mm.
Mike, I'll give it to you too, Mike. I'll give it to you. You'll play something or you'll reference something. I'm like, what's that? Oh, should I have that? And I'll just jump into it and like, okay. And I
Mm.
was listening to Questlove recently, an old episode, and he mentioned, I forget the name of the song, but there is a Carmen Electra song where she rapped over a door.
Uh,
No, no, that's a no.
all
But
that I think it's called. Ooh, baby,
that's it.
baby.
All that.
That.
Oh no,
I kind of like this.
no, you don't. No, you don't.
Just because I get to hear more of the Adore. Slightly, he's not singing over some of it. That's the reason why I like it.
Mm. But I've been listening to some Steely Dan, Silent Time, Super Deluxe, and James Brown.
Okay, okay. And Pooh, are you listening to any Prince as of late?
Not really, although, well, one, I at least 3 times a week I got to play Starfish and Coffee because I drive with my daughter and she has to hear. That's one of her go-to songs. I found myself going to the Welcome to America album, especially Born to Die, rocking with that. And then, of course, last month was Black Music Month. So they had a challenge every day. So I tried my best to get at least one Prince song up in there. And it took me back to the originals album because, I love his rendition of Noon Rendezvous and Manic Monday and Nothing Compares to You. Uh, but interestingly enough, uh, one person whose music I kind of got into was Anita Baker. Just
Mm,
Okay.
started listening to some of
mm.
her stuff. Just because of that whole thing with Anita and Babyface. Because me, I want to, I'm a rock with who I'm a misogynist, so I got to rock with the man. And I'm like, who she thinks she is? Try to get Babyface off. Let me see what she got. And then I went to some of her tracks. I was like, okay, I'm gonna shut the fuck up because that woman can sing, not sing, sang, beginning to end, 365 days of the year. So yeah, I gotta give my respect to Anita Baker and anyone that was coming for her. Yeah, y'all need to bow down. I need to bow down. Well, let me take the back. Stand down.
There's okay. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Unless you guys anything else you want to say about
Yeah.
Prince?
One last thing about music we've been listening to and other things like that. I rewatched Summer of Soul yesterday, and
Oh,
man, it's so good. Anyone out there who has not watched it, do yourself a favor and watch it. If only to see Stevie Wonder wear out some drums, Sly Stone blow the place up, and the Fifth Dimension with my girl Marilyn McCool. When I was a kid, you could not tell me. That was my future wife. Loved her when I was a kid. Loved her. Mm.
But I did want to say
Was
one
it?
other thing.
yeah, go ahead.
As part of the Black Music Month challenge, uh, one of them was a song that you really didn't get into or feel till you got older. And the person who did I forget her name. The person who did it, they showed that someone put a door, and I was like, a door, and I saw Nisa had reposted that as well. So I responded to her, I was like, a door. I'm like, how did you need to be older to get or feel that? And she was like, you had to have went through some love to really feel everything that he was saying. I was like,
Well,
okay. I was like, oh, all right, okay, I guess. I personally, I don't know about that, but I just wanted to get you guys' take on that because I just felt like it was just this man proclaiming his love for her, and I'm just like, I don't know if it needed to be a little bit deeper that you had to be in love to really get that part. Am I, trivializing it, or do y'all get what she's saying? And again, I no shade at Lisa at all. I just I just was kind of gobsmacked when I was like, wait a minute, I don't think you need to live a little to get that song. That's just about love and loving a woman.
Well, I think I see where she's coming from because, it's all about, and this is going to be weird coming out of my mouth, but it's all about a certain sense of maturity that, you experience when you get older and you've seen some things and experienced some things yourself. And so when you look at it through that lens, like me at 27, couldn't really appreciate it like me at 21. So there's a difference there. And me at more than 27, I definitely understand it. You can feel that emotion, that longing, and then there's a little limit. Maybe not the ride, but he wants to give it everything
Right.
he's got. So I definitely understand a growing appreciation for that song as one gets older. Yes.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think certain things will hit you different after you've experienced some things and you know what it's like to, like, if you were a man, listen to it from Prince's perspective. Okay, I know what it feels like to miss somebody like that, or to really feel a chick like that. Now, I didn't know that before. It was just a cool ass song. But I think once you've been through some things, them songs can hit you different. I'm trying to think of some other Prince songs that have that effect on me where I didn't really care for them that much before. But when I got older or something, I was like, you know what? I'm feeling that now. I can relate. I personally can relate to what the song is about, as opposed to it just being a great song that I don't personalize to myself. So I can understand what she meant.
Well, I could think definitely the one song that would be for me, it'd be Prince, is When Doves Cry. I didn't get that at all in 1984. Now that I didn't live, been through heartache, heartbreak, love, yeah, I get all of that.
There's a song on Artificial Age called Whitecaps, and I can't listen to that to this day because it just breaks my heart because it reminds me of our friend Sean. Because I remember he
Really?
had a video. Yeah, he had a video once of his little girl singing it in the car with him one day,
Ah, wow.
and I can't listen to it.
Mm. Sean. With that said, is anybody? I know I haven't. Anybody seen anything of his daughter or his mom online?
I haven't seen anything online, but I was never connected to the wife online, or his mom for that matter. But I would, if they can hear us, yeah, please check in with us. Let us know how everybody's doing.
I'm looking to. Me and the mom, we follow each other on social. So I'm like, I gotta look
Yeah.
into it. Yeah,
Give mom some love for us, man.
absolutely, absolutely. All right. So that's some good music conversation. We could certainly go a lot deeper, but we're gonna keep it going on another sort of music related thing. So of course, this past week, in these digital streets, there was a lot of conversations. One of the conversations was this video that came out of Keke Palmer. She went to the Usher show in Vegas, which I really want to see that show. Matter of fact, and salute to Usher, man. I think he has sort of turned into this, like, the great showman. You know what I'm saying? Like, he puts on an awesome show, sings, his voice sounds great, looks high quality, dope. So I had to give him that. But this video came out. I'm gonna try and see if we can play it here. Give me 1 second. And of course, a lot of conversation came off of this. Let's see. And let me see if this will do it. Okay. You thought I wouldn't go know that she came to the Usher show? What is I love you? You better. Congratulations. Let me just stop right there. Usher is that dude. I gotta give him his props. He all smooth with it. You good? All right, baby. He knows exactly. Like, we watch out for that guy. But anyway.
You thought I wasn't gonna know that you came to the
Oh,
Usher
is that
show?
it? That was all that I had. As you can see,
No, I like the part when he said, "You thought I wasn't gonna notice you came to the show."
I'm sorry, you thought I wasn't what?
He said, "Oh, you thought I wasn't gonna notice you came to the show." I like that part
Uh,
there.
yeah, I see them. Listen, and so of course, I guess her boyfriend, the baby's father, man, she's in a relationship with. He posted online something like that outfit though, or something like that. I don't know if those are the exact words. And then I think he did another post where he was, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't actually, he's saying something like, uh, I guess we live in a world where if the man wants to hold his partner accountable or something,
The hell?
I'm geeked out over here. That was actually Q Storm calling. Basically, he was saying, like I, I'm I'm the man, and I want to, I don't like the way she's presenting herself as a representation of family. Whoop de whoop. And of course, all hell breaks loose online. Uh, and it goes into the conversation of, it's a woman, she has the right to wear what she wants to wear. Why are you coming against women, specifically black women, being policed, I guess, criticized? And then the other side is then there's another thing on him to say, well, you shouldn't even bring this out to the public. If you felt that way, that should be a conversation you need to have with her privately. And then there was the people that were like, well, they're not married, right? She makes more money than him. You know, hang along for the ride and be quiet. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell. There's no ring on it, so you can't. You know what I mean? So it was all of this stuff. Um, and before we go too deep, I want to really hear what you guys think about this, and we'll jump in different places. But Big Sexy,
Yes.
I'm sure. I assume you had heard about this story.
Yes, I have. Yes, I
Now,
have.
what is your take on any of this?
All right. My first initial reaction when I heard what was going on, my first thought was, who the hell is Keke Palmer? I'm like, oh yeah, her. Okay, fine. Then I see the video, and to me, it was reminiscent of a Teddy Pendergrass type show back in the 80s when he was doing his thing at a Vegas type place. And it was for ladies only. Let's just keep it real. You go see Teddy, it's for the ladies. Fellas, you just there to hold the purse. That's just how it is. And so Keke, having a certain level of fame, didn't use her fame to be all backstage. She was out front like a fan, and she was acting as a fan. And Usher, being the showman he is, he's like, "Oh, I know her. How you doing, baby? Let me come talk to you." And it's part of the show, And it's the same thing if her dude was at a Beyonce show or a Janet Jackson back when she did the Velvet Rope tour, and she would bring dudes up on stage and do her thing. It's like, man, you need to quit tripping. And then now I'm going to take a shot at home, Skillet. Dude, if you want to be all bringing morals into this, A, put a ring on it. That's A. B, dude, you got to have that conversation indoors. Indoors. Before she leaves the house, baby, we need to talk about this. And that's that. And you make your opinion known, and either you work it out or you get out of the way and just let her have fun with her girls. And that's what she did. This was a girls' night out. Somebody put up some amateur video, and he's got his panties all in a bunch. He needs to calm the fuck down. And also, I don't know this cat obviously, but if she's the breadwinner, dude, know your role, man. Know your role. You can't be coming to her like head of the household when you ain't supporting the household, dog. This is how it is, man. But in any event, you need to leave this in the house between the two of you and work it out.
Interesting points. We'll come back to head of the household, breadwinner, put a ring on it.
Hell yeah. I mean, because I say that because he's all, well, my morals are this and that. Morals? Oh, we're doing that now? Okay. And she didn't do anything wrong here. She enjoyed herself at the club or at the show in public, It wasn't like, well, why don't you come on backstage, baby? Nothing like that. She had a good
I already
time.
know of, allegedly.
She had a good time. Let her have her fun, man. You need to dial it back a bit, brother. Be a little secure in your relationship. That's about
Can
it.
I ask one question
Go right ahead.
in regards to the gentleman, her baby daddy, father, child? Do you see? Can you see the logic of him being upset,
No,
or can
I
you
can't.
see the reason? Can you? Oh, okay, so you can't.
Well, see, I mean, let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase that. I don't know how long they've been involved.
Okay,
If it's something relatively new, okay, you're still trying to mark your territory and establish the boundaries and this and that. But if they're in it for a while and they've got a child and they're a couple, man, you need to calm down with that. Okay, because that type of jealousy usually goes away within the first 6 months of any relationship. So, dude, let that go, man. You know where she's going. You know, so why are you tripping? Let her do her thing and let her enjoy herself. And just remember to tell her, I'm going to use my Michael Dean now, to keep that same energy when, Beyonce rolls through. All right. So,
okay.
Good point.
Yeah, very good point. Aunt Pooh, what's your thoughts on this stuff?
I'm sorry, I'm having a crisis here. Can you come back to me in about 2 or
Oh,
3 minutes?
for
uh-oh,
sure, for sure.
uh-oh.
Like, he's the dad in this situation. Like, he's got to take care of the kid. He can't be out in the club right now. Well, here's my thing on this. And I'm thinking about this. And initially, well, not initially. Let me just say this. Keke Palmer is beautiful. Like the outfit she had on.
The outfit was a bit much. The outfit was a bit much.
Right. But that's her style. That's what she wanted.
That's
And
what
we'll
she
get
wanted to
into
wear.
that.
Yeah.
She has absolute right to do it. And she looked phenomenal. She's out having a good time. I personally don't think that there was anything wrong with her going to the concert and having a good time. I think that because this became a video and it came out, it turned into something that it probably never was. Like,
Exactly.
it probably never wasn't any sort of big deal. But I'm going to say it this way. And I'm going to speak to the men. And I really want to speak to some younger men who may be in a relationship or getting into a relationship at some point, and maybe you don't get married to the young lady, or you are, but you have a child together and it's a newborn. Here's a word of advice. First of all, let's just say this is not a fair world. Matter of fact, get fair out of your mind. I don't know why we even latch onto that word and try to wrap our lives around that. That is not a concept that makes any real sense. But here's the thing you don't want to do. Don't you pull a Keke. Because if you got a newborn, a month old, 2 months old, and your uh, baby mother, whatever, is at home with that newborn, crying and trying to get into sleep, and that's a lot. Trust me, that's work. That's a
Oh,
lot,
yes, it is.
And and she's already tired. Your sleep schedule is shot. You're on the baby schedule, right? Everything is revolving around that baby. And the woman, literally had that baby. So she's going through experiences with her body and her mental state, postmodern depression. I'm not saying it right, but there's a lot of things that can be going on. You, as a man, what you should never do is during this time, go out to the club, with your boys. You in like that outfit that she have, mwah, as Big Sexy said, yeah, that's extra. She got her cheeks out. That's extra. That's not something she didn't just randomly put that on. That's a decision to say No, I'm about to have my cakes out. I look good. I'm showing out. So for the equivalent for a man, I would say, let's just say you went to the club, you were so lit, you took your shirt off, and you're a nice looking brother, in the shirt. And when you look, just as she looks good, we looking. Even Usher was like, we look, and they know it. That's why they do it. So if a man take off his shirt and he's got nice little bill, he know they gonna be choosing. Oh, and I'm having a good time. And you at the club, and you got something. And then let me put it this way. Excuse me, big sex. But let that be Becky with the good hair at the club, grinding up on your man. Hey, popping bottles. Yeah, I'm having a good time. And if that video for some reason ends up on IG or Twitter, and your baby
You got a
mother
problem, man.
on Waiting to Exhale when Angela Bassett, there's a classic meme and just with the flame in the back, he's like, burnt his shit up. That's gonna be you. Play around and find out. And then let your boys come back over there after this then happened, and let your boy go, your best homie, who's supposed to be making sure you don't get caught up. If he go and tell your girl, I don't even know why you tripping, sis. He make all the money. He ain't got no ring on it. Your shit gonna you that's going to impact how you see your child forever. I'm clowning, but I'm speaking on some real shit. You will have you would be a fool to do that. And most cases, she's not gonna let that ride. Because her homegirl is gonna be in her ear. You let this nigga what that white? and then your boy told her, bitch, you don't make the money here. See, that's why I say throw fair out. The reality is you will be gambling with your relationship with your seed. That's the real cold reality of it, because you can hurt somebody. She might be hurt over that. You can say, well, insecure. We're human beings. We are in our feelings, even when we shouldn't be. That's just a natural state of being a human. So that's why I was asking earlier, can you see the logic, or at least the grace of why he would be upset, though he shouldn't be? But not all men are secure.
Well, again, all relationships are at different stages too. Because if they've been in it for a minute, then it's like, come on, y'all, we're past this shit. But if it's relatively new,
they've been in it for enough to birth a child. So
this is true.
They've already crossed the level that normal couples don't have to. You know what I mean? It don't even matter at this point how you feel about it. You've just created a life. So every action you do,
you in it now, yeah,
impacts that. You know what I'm saying? Them not being married, that's something they had to decide to. It was fine with them.
With them, again, something that stayed inside the house.
Right. He bringing the bread, her being the breadwinner, and him not. That decision was already made before they had that baby. Because it didn't stop her from having a baby with them. So they're not married really doesn't have anything to do with it. They have created a life that they're both responsible for. That's a fact. The fact also is both of their actions are going to trickle down to the child. It may not be today, but it will be at some point. This whole little thing that they're doing right now, their child at some point in their life is going to see or hear about this, and they'll probably be like embarrassed. Like, wow, my parents were involved in some foolishness, and it somewhat has to deal with me. Now, we don't know how a person could let that mess with their mind to think that they were the fault. It was my fault that this happened. You know what I mean? You don't know how that plays. One of the other points I wanted to bring up about something like this is I don't think we've gotten to the point yet we've seen the effects of the social media of our in our families. We don't. I didn't grow up with everything being recorded and it lives somewhere in the net and can come up at any time in my life. That never existed. That's happening right now, though. Now it's the generation of the people who are recording everything and who are posting everything online, but they haven't seen what is that going to be like 30 years from now for their kids when the foolishness clicks videos start to come out, and how does that affect the children? We have no idea what that's like because we've never experienced that yet. But we are going to have a whole generation of kids that who grew up with the videos of their parents are surfacing, and some of their parents is doing some wild stuff. And I'm curious to see how that will affect the children. We see it sometimes how it affects celebrities. Oh, you used to be on this, and now the child kind of came up fun. You kind of see it with the Willow and the Will Smith kids. Their parents are celebrities, but we haven't seen how it affects the general populace, who all of a sudden now can become famous or clips can come out on them. And I think things like this with her and this gentleman, I don't think they're thinking about that. I think we're still thinking about, well, I can do what I want to do. I'm cool with it. I can compartmentalize whatever that other thing is. I'm good. I don't have to listen to somebody. The thing is, you're absolutely right about that. But I just think when you become a parent, whether it's the man or the lady, I would think you have to start to think that all of my actions are going to trickle down to my kids. And you have to ask yourself, what's more important to me? Me standing up and fighting for my independence, or I'm being right about something, or the responsibility that I have that's to gear this child to success. So I don't push blame on either one of them for what they did. I just think I hope that whatever they do moving past this, they think that way first. So she doesn't have to go online and try to clap back and play something, nor should that
Right.
young man go back online, start trying to do something crazy. They have already decided to have a child together. So they have to do the best thing for that child. And I would say, as I said, it's not fair. So the things I said what the man should do is don't even play that, put yourself in that position. But I would think to the young lady, she might want to think of, you know what, I got every goddamn right to put this on. I got every right to go out and have fun with my friends. But I also, I hope, well, hopefully you know this nigga that you got a baby with. Do you think maybe he might get jealous? And you have to ask yourself, well, if you just want to say, if he wants to be jealous, that's his problem. True, but understand he may take this out in a way that you're not thinking about, where it could get in the way of the relationship either one of you have with your child. And it is very important, in my opinion, that your child has a great relationship with both of y'all and knows that, or at least thinks that you guys have a great relationship too, because your relationship is the thing that's going to drive everything this new life thinks about what they're supposed to be in and how he sees a man and a woman. He's going to get it from home. And so if the home is on some bullshit, then you're just raising another person that's going to be on some dysfunctional bullshit. And that's why I question, do we think about that when we're making these actions that we're doing?
Did
I,
she clap back on him on social media? I didn't. I wasn't
I
where she
hope
did.
not.
She put up a video on TikTok with the sound that said, I can't think of what she said. Something to the effect of, if you can't get right, then I'm gonna link up or something like that. And she was dancing to it. She had the, as they've been saying, the Janet Jackson Pleasure Principle wig on, and she was dancing to it. And people were saying like that was her response to him. And I'm just like,
I hope.
maybe she's just having fun.
Yeah.
But my take on this is, people want to talk about a real man, a secure man. None of us are perfect. We all fall short of the glory of God and Jesus Christ. So anybody being jealous or insecure, it's natural. Now, for me, I know I'm gonna contradict myself. I'm probably being hypocritical. For me, I would be in my feelings seeing my woman in that dress. I'm gonna take this to a personal story. 6 years ago, my first anniversary with my wife, our first, I took her out to eat, and then we went to go see Get Out. That was being hosted by Snoop Dogg. After the movie was over, she wanted a picture with Snoop, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get that to you." And the eyes, you always notice the eyes. The eyes were lighting up, and you're like, and my thinking is like, okay, she not about to go fuck him. Snoop not about to pull her like, thanks, Aunt. I'm gonna go bust this down. But but when I saw the look in her eyes, you could not tell me anything. Well, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know if I liked it. And then when she took the picture and she was looking at the picture, it's like, yeah. Now, in my opinion, she was just like, damn, I got to meet Snoop and I took a picture. But the bitch in me, the simp in me was like, you way too happy about the picture.
Yeah.
So that's me. Now, can you imagine if she was wearing Kiki's dress and they were hugged up and he was singing "Ain't No Fun"?
Oh hell no! That's so disrespectful.
You know? So I cannot tell that man not to be insecure at all. That was a conversation that needed to be had before she left out, and I'm hoping that when she left out, they came to some type of resolution. Looking at the video of her with Usher, I don't think she did anything wrong. He came over. Usher was respectful. There was this one guy, I can't think, Ryan Taylor, I think that's his name. Ryan Davis, comedian. He broke down. He was like, you see how smooth Usher is. He doing everything. He doing everything. She's like, Usher in a relationship. So he not doing anything to be caught out there. And he was saying, like, if you notice, he had the arm that was around Keke, he had a towel in his hand. So it was like he ain't even touching her. Damn. I was like, okay. But regardless of that, Keke was, in my opinion, it's my opinion. Y'all ain't gotta like it. Keke was not doing anything inappropriate or disrespectful to her husband in that moment. She was just having fun, being serenaded. You know. Now, maybe when she turned around and showed him the cheeks, you know, yeah, you could maybe find that disrespectful. I gotta talk to we gotta hear from Dalton. I think that's his name, Dalton. He can tell us that. I don't feel he did anything disrespectful. She did anything disrespectful. For me, he was out of pocket and out of line. I'm not gonna even talk about, oh, she's the breadwinner, she's the moneymaker or whatnot. There's a couple things you have to think about. One, if you really did have that problem, why are you taking it to social media to get other people in your business?
Ding, 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 ding.
Two, Keke Palmer is a celebrity. Keke Palmer is not on Love and Hip Hop. She's not on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's not, one of these shows that is salacious. Keke Palmer is one of the co-hosts on Good Morning America. Keke Palmer was in Essence, I think it was at Essence Fest, interviewing Kamala Harris. So she's on a different area. So by him doing that, he brought her to tabloid and the bullshit blog talking about, oh, her man. That's what he just did. Like, you could say, now, in my opinion, you could say, well, Keke Palmer ain't caring about her brand because she walking out with her booty cheeks out. It's Keke Palmer's brand. You being the significant other.
Can I just add? I'm gonna just 1 second because I like what you just said there. I guess the thing too I would say though is when you're getting on that level that Keke is, all moves must be calculated.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Even your intention isn't to be this, but you have to analyze the possibility of what if it's taken this way though. You see what I'm saying? So even though she did nothing wrong, she should have thought like these motherfuckers on Twitter, they gonna take this. I know how they're gonna play. I mean, I'm not in the game, and I would think this is how they would play something like that. They're gonna try to, and then you don't know your man if he can take that. And I think what it was, he saw everybody posting this, and he couldn't take it. I gotta say something. But I'm just saying, like, if you're moving at her level, you're really supposed to think, you know what, is my significant other on code? Because he might
That's a good
respond to
point.
the foolishness. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, game would do this. Has nothing about her being a woman. I would say that for anybody, whether you're a man or a woman. I'm just saying, if you are elevating, persons that elevate like that are really supposed to be analyzing the moves and understanding the other options that could happen if I do this. Because I would have thought if under more time, if she had thought about, I'm not just going out with my girls, this is my brand, and this little moment could affect my whole career. But go ahead. That's all I wanted to add.
That's a good point. Now, but the point I was making is that Keke Palmer, if it's her brand, she can do that. But in my opinion, you don't get to put her in that situation by taking it to this level, by having that stuff being put out there, making this. Because when I first saw it, it was just like, oh, Keke Palmer got her cheeks out, getting serenaded by Usher, and I think that would have been maybe a day. But by him saying you're a mom and I don't want da, it became this huge big other thing. And I'm just thinking like, somebody said like you're a traditional person. As a traditional man, head of household, you're supposed to be a provider and a protector. Well, you're failing at both. You're not the provider. We don't know fully everything, but everybody's assuming she makes more money. And two, you're not the protector because you just went on social media and just admonished her. That's not what you're supposed to do. And I'm just like, and I'll chalk that up to, I want to chalk that up to youth, but I think they're both near 30 or in their 30s.
I'm still young.
That's youth, man. That's still youth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I'd give a 20,
oh,
22, 20, maybe 25-year-old dad, but you in your 30s, nah, you get a
well,
little more.
I would agree, but I think nowadays those ages are still young,
Still
very
young, man.
young-minded. I
Still
mean,
young.
listen, I say you analyze the moves. They're both not married. They announced they got a baby, having a baby. I do it like on national TV. Like that's the thing. That's not like, to me. That's a kind of funny move. Like, why would you do that? You don't have a stable home. But again, these are the plays of a young person, right?
Okay.
They probably think because I am a celebrity or something, I got more resources to take care of the situation. Obviously, we see now how this is played out. See how much they're not in sync together and how it seems like their family's in turmoil. So they're not really on some logic. That's my point. Like,
Yeah.
even young like that and with money, still moving crazy. A real gamed up person, like I said, probably wouldn't even a Kamala Harris or a Oprah. They probably wouldn't have
Beyonce.
their cheeks out like that. They move a
Oh,
little
yeah,
different
they
because
would.
they understand, hey, I'm in a different league. I don't need to impress nobody. Why would I need to? It makes you start to analyze the whole point of, well, why do I even need to be sexy? For what? I already got the man and the family. Why do I need their attention? But then you can say, well, that's part of the brand is to look a certain way. I get that. But again, I just think you would analyze your moves. The husband's supposed to analyze his moves. Well, he's not a husband, but the boyfriend, the father, he's supposed to analyze his moves. He should know I can't put that post out.
Yep.
This is going to cause division in my situation because I got to know the knuckleheads are going to say this. Like, why would I, people, oh, he's not the breadwinner. They don't even know what they're talking about, right? Ain't nobody seen nobody's checks. But when you let foolishness thoughts persuade you to do foolish, you're not going to win. So he's not winning. So his family's in turmoil at this point, right? Hopefully they get it together and this is just, they can squash it. All relationships have arguments, right? So I wouldn't think this is something worth them not being together and not raising their child together. That would be
Absolutely.
even more ridiculous if they broke
Yeah.
up,
Agreed.
right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Over
Well, let me ask
something
you this. Now you mentioned Oprah, and Oprah's older than Keke and her guy at this point, obviously. But she's been with Stedman for 1,000 years. I don't ever once recall Stedman coming out in the public and
Right.
airing any laundry, you know? And again, it's not because of differences of income. It's just like you said, Mike, if Stedman says something, it's going straight to the Inquirer. And it's going to be in that type of realm. And that damages her, which in turn damages them. So I'm
Right.
sure they have disagreements, but they keep that in the house. You figure
As
it
you
out
should.
internal.
Um, Wanted to also sort of tie in another conversation about presentation. Again, I think women are being the ones really being called out on a lot of this stuff. Uh, Janelle Monae and
Yes.
Megan Thee
Yes.
Stallion both performed at the Essence Fest, along with many other artists. Salute to everybody. But there was some clips that came out that went viral. There was the one with Janelle. She uh, flashes her breast. There was I think it was like a twerk contest, or Megan Thee Stallion brought up people to twerk on the stage. And you hear certain people. There was some people that was kind of like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" But the one I wanted to bring up was India Irie, which is also a black female R&B artist. I think she came out what in the 2000s,
I'd say late 90s.
late 90s. Okay,
I could be
actually
wrong. I could be
thinking
wrong.
about it, but she came out and had made a comment online about this. And I think she's getting pushback and props. I see it both ways, but I want to read a little bit what she says. She says, I hate defending simple logic, so I'm just going to say this. She began, this is not an issue with any of my sisters, period. I am an old school, long time affirming voice for women. My record speaks for itself. I love humanity, even in all its bullshit, lol. All I'm saying is context matters. Debate that if you want, lol. But I said what I said. And why did I say it? Because just like everyone else, I am entitled to my opinion. She continued. But also, I do this work my whole life, my whole adult life, the work of uplifting and loving and affirming and supporting the wellness of Black women and all people at large. How effective I was, I guess, depends on who you ask. But for 20 plus years, I ran 100 miles an hour at all times in the name of healing. So when I say something that sparks my personal mission, I speak. There's not scandal here, just one woman's opinion. But what I will never allow is for anyone to paint me as a person who would use other women for kindling in the burning down of the patriarchy. No, 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 no. It's all love, all the female artists, because I stand firsthand. I know firsthand how hard it is to be one. Now, I think I read her response to the backlash she was getting. So let me go to her initial comments. I'm sorry. This is what she said about the essence thing. She says, is The issue is what is context. Humanity does everything, but does everything belong in its stage? No. Is everything for kids? No. Is everything for everybody? No. So when we as a culture make something like this mainstream, it shows a lack of discretion and discernment. She continues, to those in the comments who laugh at anyone who wants these things for our culture, you certainly have that right. Just as many folks have the right to want our mainstream international export our music to show us in a respectful light. I like to go on record saying this won't age well, and that's my issue. I love Jonelle and Meg the way I love us all, and I don't like this moment. Don't bother debating me. LOL. I don't care, and I do this for 25 years. Okay. All right. So this was the biggest sort of critical response from another person in that genre, in that world. It's different from outsiders speaking on it, but here's somebody who has been in that and is in it, speaking out uh, about this. And I think, in my opinion, what I seem like I'm seeing now is uh, it is black people pushing back on some other black people, which I don't personally have a problem with, and I don't think no matter what side of the coin you should fall on, you should. I don't think we should have a problem if somebody questions something that we do. If we know what we're doing is solid, then we can answer the question in confidence and keep it pushing. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'm not doing that, and here's why, and there you go. But when you don't want to have the questions asked, that's what makes me kind of question, like, why would a question make you so defensive? Like, if you know what I mean, if you know what you're doing is right, you answer the question and push it on, keep it moving. So I like that Black people are questioning other Black people in terms of what is morality, what is acceptable or not. I don't think there's a problem with that. I think when we don't ask each other these questions and we just allow somebody else to define what those are, that's where we have the problem. So I think we're at a time where there's just certain people are starting to push back, and it may be a generational thing, depending on age, but I don't even think it's an age thing personally. I think it's just the times change. It's a different sort of mentality, and that's how society works. But uh, I think we're just at a point within Black society, I think there's certain people who love the direction it's going, and there's some people that have a strong reaction to where it's going and want to voice that opinion. Big Sexy, Big Sexy, start with you. Any thoughts on any of this stuff?
Well, again, I'm looking at it strictly from the artist involved. Now, I am not really familiar with Miss Stallion, but I know she's come across as a very visual and sexual type artist, and that's fine. That's fine. With Janelle Monae, I'm looking at her discography. First, she comes out with the Android type deal. Then she went into the Electric Lady phase, my personal favorite. And then she went into the Dirty Computer, also love that. And now her latest album is called The Age of Pleasure. As an artist, she gets to try different things. You know, Prince did this, Bowie did this. A lot of people, Beyonce has done. Everybody can do what they want to do, and let the art take it where it's going to take it. A lot of people, fans, only like a certain artist at a certain phase, and that's it. Well, I only like Purple Rain. Everything is bullshit. You got to look past that. An artist is not a stagnant person. Art is not stagnant. Art is going to grow and evolve and develop, and it's going to take chances. And Janelle's taking chances with this thing. Some people appreciate it. Some people have problems. And that's okay. That's part of the artist's journey. Um, I don't have a problem with it because that's where she felt she needed to take it, then that's where we need to take it. I remember Marvin Gaye on the Let's Get It On tour. He did something similar to that. He actually stripped down to his drawers. I don't know what he was thinking, but he did it.
And I know what he was thinking. He's like, we'll come into the hotel room after the show.
Wow, why you gotta be all that?
That's where it took him.
Art,
and he was an artist in every sense of the word. So I don't think any blowback is warranted on either one of these ladies at all.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Ampu, and then after that, I wanted to bring up C. Dolores Tucker because
here you go. Every time we get to talking about morality and music, here they go with C. Dolores Tucker. It's they one.
See, and I really want to jump into why you had that response, but go ahead and let's talk about this. I want to hear your thoughts on this other stuff here.
Again, I'm going to be very conflicted. It might even come across hypocritical.
Okay.
Maybe it's for me because I grew up in the MTV age. Like, none of this is new to me. Maybe I'm desensitized to it. I know Mike likes to say that there was a balance to it and they weren't the mainstream. And I push back on that because I absolutely say Prince and Madonna and Janet Jackson were absolutely the mainstream. They were doing this type of stuff. Madonna was masturbating on the bed. Prince had his ass out.
Right. When I was talking, man, I'm talking about in Black culture.
Well, Prince.
So I'm talking about the 2 Live Crews. What's the Millie Jacksons? We always had these types of stuff, but they weren't on the award shows performing those songs that we know existed in the public. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, but I mean, Prince absolutely was the mainstream in the black culture, and Juliet
Absolutely.
was absolutely the mainstream in the culture. So so like I said, I really feel like I'm desensitized. Salt and Pepper, they were mainstream, and they had their little booty shorts on and
Absolutely.
push it. Shoot. Have you listened to the lyrics of Shoot and what they talking
I
about?
know exactly. Yeah.
So again,
Absolutely.
I can't really try to grab them by the hand and spank them on the hand and say and cut that out because it's nothing new for me.
Okay.
But the thing that I don't like is the people saying that they're doing it for attention and that that's the only way that they can stay mainstream and whatnot.
Mm.
Because if you look at Janelle Monae, she had been changing up her look as she, I guess, got comfortable with herself. I don't. I'd have to have the conversation with her or look for some interviews as to why she went from the suit to. I remember the Electric Lady video. She had whew, the tight velour tracksuit on. Where I was like, wait a minute,
It's always fine.
and that was like 2014, I think it was. So I'm not sure.
Can I
Erica,
ask you one quick question in regards to that?
yes, sir.
And I don't know much about her that way either, but just from your own perception, do you think she's getting more conversation and light now than before or not?
More now because of what she's because
Right.
and stuff. But to me, she went to a different level when she got into acting. She
Sure.
became more mainstream. Like this stuff, in my opinion, pales in comparison to her acting roles, where she's got with Hidden Figures and Knives Out, and there's a few others I really can't think
They're
of.
not talking about her acting. We can agree
Right,
to that.
right. But no, but what I'm saying is she became more mainstream because of the acting than this stuff here. I think this stuff here is more so, and I could be wrong, and I'll gladly take the L. Like this is more so concentrated in the black community as opposed to her acting taking her past that
So it's
popular.
even more interesting if the implications are
Like
true.
we're talking about it. But for me, I as someone who has two daughters and one being 5 years old, it was kind of
Mm,
interesting. I'm
Damn,
trying
she's
to
fine.
remember what. Yes, she's 5. She'll be 6 in
Wow.
November. Oh my God, I'm trying to think what song it was. Her mother was like, "No, don't sing that song," and I was just kind of like,
mm.
I can't think. I really wish I could remember what song it was because I thought it was Tim. I'm like, what do you have an issue with that? But hey, I was like, hey, listen to your
You
mama.
said the mother pushed back
Yeah,
on it?
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
I really wish I could remember what the song was, but anyway, um, I do have to take a look at what's being consumed by her and whatnot, and for the most part, she's not looking at it. It's funny. It's more so me projecting on her than her actually being influenced. Because I don't know. I think there's a video on my Instagram where she's dancing to Kiss, and she's like 2 or 3 years old. So I know for a fact she's not looking at any of these videos, but she was just dancing, just
Mhm.
playing around, and then all of a sudden she went down and almost did booty pop, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. But
Oh,
that me, and I'm sure Mike, you probably was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But in her mind, I don't know where she would have saw that, or it's just
It's
like, hey,
I know where they saw it. It's in everything. It's in the cartoons.
oh,
Pretty much every one of these animated movies has a section in the movie where the character flashes their ass and it's like a joke and they shake and stuff. I've watched them all and I've seen it. That's how these little kids are seeing it. But we think it's funny, and the people that are making these think it's funny. But I don't know if they have kids or they're not paying attention. But you have firsthand experience that they pick up on it. They don't know what they're doing, but they're doing it. The scary thing is there is somebody who does know what they're doing and is either thinks it's funny or they're really getting off on that.
mm, interesting. Mm.
But
let me put this
again,
in. I think a lot of it has age too. because I'll use Prince as the example here. We go back to 1980 Prince, he's walking around in his drawers,
Right.
and doing his thing. Eventually, he grew out of that. I look at it in athletics, particularly football. When we're young, we think we're indestructible.
Mm.
We go out there, let's bust heads up. What's up? And as a lot of these players get older, it's like, what, maybe we need to slow this down a little bit, put in some different rules, take some of the contact out and this and that. So it all depends on where a person is in their existence, if how they look at something. Because I'm always online fussing, oh man, football is for wussies now, man. Take all the rules out. But it's all like I won't say assumption of the rest, but when you're young, you just want to get out there and run. Let me do what I do. Where are my draws at? Let's go. And then as you grow older, you're like, you know what? Prince went from Bergini draws to, and I think it was musicology. He's like, look, we got youngins in here. I ain't doing them songs. You want to hear them songs? Go play the record. And even change your lyrics up on a few things. So,
He
people,
went all the way to door with it. Like,
exactly.
I'm not.
People's
Yeah, I'm only by associated with that stuff.
people's ideologies change over time,
There you
and
go.
that's okay. It's to be expected. A lot of the music now that we're hearing, hey man, it ain't for me. It ain't for me. I'm not that art audience. And that's okay. My time was back then. I've enjoyed it. Let other people do their thing now. So again, it's not for me. So when I see all the blowback on by older people on younger people doing something artistic, it's like, you know what? Remember back when you were that age? What were you into? And I'm going to go ahead and call your girl Miss Tucker. What was she into at
Oh, we're
21?
gonna get into it.
You know,
Let's get into it. Let's
I
get
bet she was in
into
the
it.
club once or twice.
Oh, the thing, yeah, right. So here's a little bit about C. Dolores Tucker. This is very interesting. There wasn't the internet did not exist back then. It would have been very interesting if it did, and if there would be a C. Dolores Tucker today, it'd be interesting how she would be presented. Here's some facts about her. C. Dolores Tucker dedicated much of her life to fighting racism and injustice. She was born in Philadelphia. Uh, she also worked at the NAACP for 50 years, marched alongside Dr. King and Selma. She made history as the first Black Secretary of State in Pennsylvania, 1971. It was Democrat. Let's see. She founded and served as president of the National Congress of Black Women. Okay. C. Dolores said gangster rap destroyed the souls of Black youth and began a crusade to get rid of it. It says after hearing one of her nieces recite vulgar lyrics from a rap song, Tucker took up the cause of eradicating gangster rap in the 90s. She condemned the violent, misogynistic, and sexually explicit lyrics as sleazy, pornographic smut. She says, I am here to put the nation on notice. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to play a little bit of this. Hopefully. Oh, you know what? It's not. So she says, I am here to put the nation on notice that violence perpetrated against women through the music industry in the form of gangster rap and misogynistic lyrics will not be tolerated any longer. Principle must come before profit. She said, today, however, though, the lyrics of rappers who display no respect for women, no respect for families, and very little respect for themselves, the souls of our sisters are being destroyed, and so too their prodigy. Prodigy. Um, and then she goes on to show the album cover and the artwork of the Snoop Dogg Doggy Style album. And she was saying, this is detrimental to our women. And she thought it was violent to women. She says, you want to know why I'm on a warpath? When I say this, I said, that's it. We march again. And we're going to keep on marching and demonstrating. She also went as far as to purchase stock in Sony and Time Warner so that she could protest hip hop at the shareholder meetings. So she spent her own money to take it to the executive's face and shame them at their shareholder meetings because she didn't like how black people and families were being, I guess, influenced by this stuff. She aligned herself with Republicans to fight gangster rap. Although Tucker was a loyal Democrat, she reached across the aisle to fight against gangster rap. Some of her supporters were Republican Bob Dole and William J. Bennett. Then, of course, Tupac, Jay-Z, Eminem, and others condemned her in the lyrics.
Oh
In the
yeah, I
song,
definitely remember that line from Tupac.
How Do You Want It, Shakira rhymes, Dolores Tucker, you a motherfucker. Instead of trying to help a nigga, you destroy a brother. You too old to understand the way the game's told. In another song, wonder why they call you bitch. Doctor, or dear Miss Dolores Tucker, you keep stressing me, fucking with the motherfucking mind. I figured you wanted to know. You know why we call them whole bitches? It's strictly business, baby, strictly business. This is Tupac. He's talking to an elder civil rights leader. I don't
Yeah.
care if you're C. Dolores Tucker or you're Bill O'Reilly. You're only riling me up, Jay-Z rapped. Little Kim says, chimed in on her song Rockin' It after Tucker called her music gangster porno rap. C. Dolores T, screw her. I never knew her. Little Kim. I didn't know this, but I said, she sued the Tupac estate after his death for lyrics about her, which she said were slanderous and caused emotional distress. Interesting. Suge Knight also sued C. Dolores Tucker. The lawsuit alleges that Tucker asked Knight to sign a document designating her as Death Row's exclusive representative to negotiate a new clean rap venture that she said would be financed by Time Warner. So I'm curious. I bring this up to say I just think is we've seen this before. Ampu said earlier, none of this is new, and I don't think this conversation we're having right now about on a Discord they call it the whole route or the stripper rap culture and all this. It's the same conversation that we had back in the '90s with gangster rap. My thing is to say, looking back at her pushback on this, as I'm older now, I actually kind of find myself agreeing with her, pushing back against it in response to she's saying how I got black people first, and I don't think this is helping us. And as a civil rights elder in the community, I'm gonna stand up on it. I'm gonna stand on principle. What did she say? Principle over profit. So she has the best intentions in my mind. Whether or not I necessarily agree that she should be censoring it, but I can't be mad that the elder who has the wisdom and then put in the work says, you know what, this ain't a good look for us. Who's funding this? And I can't say she was going after brothers because she spent her own money to take it to them folks at their shareholder. She's like, I don't even want to deal with the rappers. They ain't nobody. I want to take it to the top because they understand that they're pushing out a message that I don't agree with. So I'm not necessarily mad at her on that. My question is though, so what was the aftermath of that? And was she right or wrong? And where are we at right now? Did we win? Was that in the best interest for her to allow what happened with the music like that? And the music now, is that a representation of the aftermath of that? Puts us in a better position, or are we at a worse position? Because I would argue, you know what? She was right. Because look at where we at with it now. But that's just my take. Ampu, Big Sexy, what say you?
Very simple. This was going on in the 90s. This also happened in the 80s. with the whole PMRC nonsense going after rock bands.
Close the doors.
A lot of times you're going to get, again, elderly people. I hate to use that phrase, elderly, but older people trying to control someone's expression. You can't do that. Part of why I'm a lawyer was I followed the entire Two Live Crew situation back in 1990. And all music is not for all people. Now, she has a right to not dig it, and she has a right to spend money on Time Warner stock and be heard. Yes, she does. But at the same time, people who make that music or any music have the right to express themselves the way they see fit, and let the marketplace dictate. I'm not going to say she's wrong, but I remember that scene from the Defiant Ones, where her and I believe it was one of the people from Time Warner and Dionne Warwick were trying to get Suge to sell his shares and all that, and he didn't go, and they got mad at him. But
we have to acknowledge though that the Defiant Ones is told from the perspective of people that are on the side of the subject of who that. So of course they were not going to. So we could argue there's probably a bias the way they're presenting her in that, right?
No, she wasn't presented in this negative fashion at all. They just didn't go, and that's fine. And there's always going to be people who have feelings about anybody's music, be it from Chuck Berry and My Dingaling to shit going on right now. That's always been the way it has been. That's the way it's going to be. Again, I think a lot of it is age specific. When you're older, this filthy stuff. Because I remember when I was little, we'd sneak off and listen to Richard Pryor records, knowing we weren't supposed to. But we sneak them anyway, be in the basement, laughing it up.
Right.
But
it wasn't mainstream.
Define mainstream though. Define mainstream.
You couldn't play those records out in the open. Your parents,
you could not disagree.
Sneak and do it.
You could play some of the content in the open. All of it, of course not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A lot of we always have had that stuff, but it always had its place. There was the presentable side of things that we did, and there was the way we talk when we were around our friends. It's the same mentality, right? You don't be doing all the yo-yo when you're in a business world, but when you're around because that ain't mainstream. And we don't make that argument when it's time to act like that at the job. It's not even an argument, right?
No.
We don't do. So that's what I'm talking about. The music that we kept that where it was. We always had the ratchet stuff. That's a part of our stuff. But when I say balance is, we had Marvin Gaye and them up in the front. We kept that other stuff to ourselves. They didn't get to go on the award show to perform. That's what we just listened to amongst ourselves and at our parties. But that wasn't the thing that we presented to the world. We never got down like even Prince understood that. Because when he went mainstream, put the bikini up. I'm changing my image. After Purple Rain, he changed his image up. I'm clean. He was on the cover of People. Yeah, I'm about to get this money. I ain't stupid. I'm on some other stuff.
And again, he was a target of those things too. And
right,
then
but he was smart. I can't.
It's not quite smart. He grew up. He grew up. Because we're getting up there in age. I can't see anybody who's making that other than Millie Jackson, because she kept it consistent the whole career. I can't see people still trying to go for that shock value as they get older. Because then you become a one-trick pony, and that's not going to work.
Right.
And it reeks of dishonesty, So, but again, coming from Miss Tucker and a lot of other people, I get it. I remember after I graduated college, I was living at home for a little bit, and I'm playing the second NWA album. I'm not even thinking about it, and Mom comes in and is like, "Oh no, we're not doing this." I'm like, "Fair enough."
It's the same pushback hip hop had against gangster rap when it first came out. And if you remember that, within the culture, People, we look down on gangster rap. That was like, that's foolishness. Why would you want to rap about something like that when we got Public Enemy and BDP and all this? What are you talking about? But it was
Yeah.
only because Dre and that music was so dope. You just, you know what? It's dope. Let it go. But that was pushback against. It was the same kind of. To me, it was the same kind of pushback you're seeing now. But we were pushing back against that. But at the end of the day, they won. And I think the people who were putting the records out, I would rather, if this thing is about to blow rap, I'd rather it blow them talking about this than they blow with them talking about this fight the power stuff. So that's over. And to me, that's why I question, unlike any other rap genre or music genre, hip hop and rap is taken, for whatever reason, it is taken so serious by the people who listen to it. It's not only you, so you adopt the lifestyle of it, as it's not just the music. And so you start to do what those songs and the imagery is. And my point is to say, well, okay, the first experiment was gangster rap. It won, it became mainstream. Now here we are 20 years later. Now we see the effects of it. We see the effects of the little Kims and the hoes with attitudes. The ones they got today blow them out the water. And now
Hoes
we're
with
at a and now
attitudes.
we're at, yeah, remember them? They can't, hoes with attitudes.
Man, I really can't believe we were thirsting over them girls, ladies, because
But and now we're at a point where, okay, everything is super sexualized, everything is super violent, the drill rap and stuff. And they've taken it to the next level where they're literally killing each other. Like that's a part of the genre. It almost seemed like somebody got to die, or somebody's got to be super sexual. And I guess I think we just see there is the sort of the older ways and the newer ways are sort of kind of colliding a little bit because one is kind of taking over and going to the next phase. And I think again the culture's almost kind of pushing back at itself a little bit, like, yo, is this what we're doing now? And some of people are saying, of course, this is what we're doing. You know, but it's not new. We've been here before. And Pooh, I haven't really got you to jump in. Go ahead.
like I might have earlier chided C. Dolores Tucker, but as you read her resume, her hashtag accolade, um, I can't be mad at her, and I definitely can't speak ill of her. I mean, she put in the work, she did the work, and she had a point of view. At the time, again at the time, I was like, man, fuck, I want to hear about Tupac, I want to hear my Q. What was you saying? But I do see her point of view. But at the same time, I feel like music, particularly rap music, is an art form. And I know you not. I know you ain't gonna like me going there, but I'm gonna go there.
Go ahead, Russell.
Russ,
That's what Russell Simmons would always say. It's the art. They're just reporting from the streets. And
I see how that shit.
brother,
No,
they're killing each other. Stop playing. Well, no, it's an art form. They need to write this.
no.
Okay, you're
I'm
rich. You don't have to live that for me. But go ahead.
I'm gonna say if we can get 50 million 11, 5100 Italian mafia movies, 5100 uh, KKK, or these strong arm Aryan theme movies. We get these 5011 crime TV shows and Italian mafia TV shows. Then yeah, we can have this music that is speaking about criminal element. There are those who do speak to it, and there are those who don't. Now, as you're saying, it's unfortunate that the ones that are speaking to this uh, debased culture are the mainstream. But I feel like, hey, there is other content out there that we can find, that we can elevate. As opposed, I've always said, as opposed to wagging your finger at those that are putting out the music that you find not helpful to the culture, why not tweet the ones that you feel is great? Why not keep posting out the video? I know you do that, Mike. But I'm saying all the other ones, I'm like, okay, well, let's elevate the ones who have. Let's elevate the Rhapsody. Let's
Well,
elevate the
yeah,
Cameron.
you're
Let's
right.
elevate these other ones and stop, stop giving. the clicks, the engagement, the social media amplification of those that you find despicable. There's those that keep saying like I think there was some video you posted like, "Is this what we celebrating?" And a part of me, I was like, "Well, nigga, why are you sharing it? All you doing is amplifying it further."
Right. But what do we respond to though? We've been trained to respond to things at this point.
Yeah,
Like they
it's true.
fed it back to us to now we actually don't want nothing but that.
I would not say that. I will say,
I wouldn't say that at all.
I will say, I will say
Because you
that
only listen to what they give you, right?
that's not
They
true.
know this. They know this. That's why
That's
they
not
get
true.
angry because they don't push the other stuff. They push this, and they know you ain't gonna pay attention if your own person say you're gonna pay attention to what the big dogs push to you through their platforms,
I will
and
say
they got
that
that on a stranglehold. Go ahead.
I will say that humanity always has the car crash aspect. That no matter how bad the car crash is, we gonna look, and that's sad. But that's human.
Okay.
That's our human nature. We will
Sure.
look at the debase, the ratchet,
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that we can't look at because we find that more entertaining. That is human nature. That goes across all color
I
lines.
agree. I
And
agree.
that's what I would say to that. Now, to the
No,
extent
but the thing is, which cultures of ratchet are they promoting though?
the ones that we see, because we are black, is the black culture. But
On the
you,
mainstream, what culture is leading the charge?
when you say the mainstream,
Yeah,
where are
who's
you
the
getting this
top?
view?
The top. Let's take music. Who's the top? Who's the top music? What genre is outselling everything?
Hip hop.
Okay, who's
Well,
dominant?
actually, let me take that back. I don't this year. I don't know if hip hop is the top seller. I don't. I mean, they just said no hip
Generally,
hop.
who outsells everything else?
Okay, generally
Not
rap.
that.
No, don't. No,
Stop.
we gonna keep it 100. We
Okay.
got to keep it 100. I think you posted an article that said no hip hop album has charted this year in the top 10. I think it was. So I mean,
Right.
maybe we're not, but I mean, if you want to go overall, then yeah, you're right. It is
Okay.
R&B. But if you look at who is number one, who's number one is your Jay Z's, your Kanye's, your Kendricks, your Drakes, and those aren't your gangsters.
They lead the culture right now in terms of what the kids is into.
As to who's selling, selling.
You playing? I'm
How am
gonna
I
just put your
playing?
head
You
on.
just asked who's leading. I'm telling you who's selling.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
You know, it can be all kind of. I mean, it's like DC. DC get a lot of clicks, but ain't nobody going to pay for the movie, right?
I guess I
No,
don't know
no.
what you.
DC movies get a lot of chatter of people talking about it's
Sure.
shitty, is this that. So you would think that it's popping, but their movies ain't selling.
So
The
so
same with
are
that.
you saying that because a lot of attention is played to the Megans and all that, they're not really popping? I guess I don't understand what you mean.
No, they're not selling. They're not selling.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Nobody's paying attention to them anyway, right?
Yeah. We'll see. And the other thing that I would say about this is that when it comes to the quote unquote over sexualization of
Mhm.
female hip hop artists, it's cyclical. We had it in the 80s with Salt and Pepper. Then we got it back with Salt and Pepper again, and Foxy and Lil Kim. And now we got it back.
Wait. Just to push back, all the rappers were not sexualized. Let's not play that game.
I didn't say that. I said it's been
There was a
cyclical with
balance.
I said it's been cyclical of the over sexualization of female rappers. We saw it in the mid to late 80s with Salt and Pepper. We saw it again in the mid 90s with Salt and Pepper, Foxy, and Little Kim. And now we're seeing it again, Nicki, Cardi, Megan, Sweetie. Ooh, that
Yeah,
Ice
but
Spice. God
where
damn.
are the other rappers that you didn't name it that were big in those periods that weren't sexual? Where's the Queen Latifah's, Lauren Hills, MC Light? I mean,
No. What I'm saying, no, what I was
the
saying is you do have that.
Yo-Yos.
Yes, I know. And I'm just saying
You
there
don't have
was that.
you don't have those.
Now, no. Sadly, no.
That's what I'm saying. So it's out of balance.
Yeah.
But but I guess the other question is, do we think that is because that's just not the style now, or is because they don't want they're not showing those types, or we're not responding to those types of rappers.
I think, as with all entertainment, sex sells.
Okay.
You
Which
know,
is sort of
because
leading me back to when I was asking about Janelle's. Do you think she's getting more? I never saw her get this much attention. No one wasn't buying her stuff like that, let alone having debates. But it just seems like she's top of mind now. But how does she get to be top of mind? They had to literally pull her titty out to do it. Not saying she's not pulling it out for a good reason. I'm just saying, again, this is not a fair world. So the response is the response. She's going to be the top conversation. And it ain't because I ain't heard hardly nobody talk about the music like they're talking about her person, like her body. You would think that was the main product. She put an album out of songs. Where's that conversation? Oh, that was the jam. Or I haven't heard that. Anything else we want to jump on this topic?
well, one thing I did want to say is when you mention as far as the impact on the community, are you
Mhm.
talking about in the entertainment field, or are you talking about in the Black community as a whole?
You talking about when I talk about it?
Yeah. No, when you said that you said what is this going to be the impact in, as it
Oh yeah, yeah,
continues?
yeah.
Are you saying specifically entertainment? What
Oh
is going to
no,
affect, or are you talking about the Black community as a whole?
talking about the Black community as a whole.
Okay,
Like,
you're fucked up now, right?
yes, please give it to me. I want all
because
that smoke.
because we can generally say
Mhm,
debauchery within Black entertainment and music.
mhm.
I'll just say we go back to the 1970s. Let's say the 1970s,
Sure.
when you see
Yeah.
the Black exploitation films, when you
Mhm.
have your Millie Jackson, you have your Prince, you have your Janet Jackson grinding up on people on stage, you had
Yep.
your Salt and Peppers, your Foxy,
Yep.
your NWA and whatnot.
Mhm.
What would you judge successful within the Black community? I would say Black business ownership, education, and marriage rates. Well, if you look at the statistics of Black business ownership, decade
Mm.
over decade, we have grown with Black owned businesses. It actually went down year over year, 2021 to 2022, because they don't have 2023, by 0.5%. So, despite
Okay.
all of this being, as you said, targeted towards us, Black people are succeeding when it comes to creating and owning their own Black business. When you look at education, decade
Mhm,
over decade, year over year,
mhm.
Black attendance of Black students has grown
Okay.
decade over decade. Since the matter of fact, since 2000, they looked at it from 2017 to 2022, it's risen by 14%. And
Mm.
Black marriage, we're currently at 42% of Black people are married, which actually has risen since 2015. So
Mhm.
I get that you're saying that this could have a negative impact. However, the stats are bearing out that if you want to judge it by these metrics, it's where there is positive elements that are occurring within the Black community in the sectors of education, Black owned businesses, and marriages.
So,
So
do you think that we as Black people are winning now?
yes, we're obviously
Well,
there's
then
more
that answers my question.
we're more educated.
Change nothing.
Yeah, we're more educated and we own more business, and there's more of us owning our own businesses.
Interesting. Are we? So you think we're on code then?
Not totally, because I would say, there are those. I would say we're not on code to the sense that large scale businesses,
Mm.
owning the studio. We have Tyler Perry, and that's not anywhere near the level of WB or Universal. We don't have our own television networks. We don't own enough radio stations. We don't. Our banks are not at the level of a city of J.P. Morgan Chase, and
Right.
to
What's the
push back
greatest
on it, we'll never be at that level. But
will
can we
never
get
be?
close? I don't believe, no, in America, no. I don't think we'll ever have a bank at the level of those.
So what? Just to, I'm going to agree with what you said. Right. Would that same logic then be also used to those metrics to say like, and I'm slightly changing the subject, that we should continue to just vote Democratic?
Why do you feel like that's a gotcha to me? You know, I don't fuck with tits like that. You really? It's like I really felt like, yeah, I got you. I'm like, nigga.
Come on, man. Don't be Kiki's baby daddy.
No, because I'm sorry. Tell me what the question was again.
I
Is that
was saying, you mentioned like, okay, so over this period of time, things have been getting better statistically. And I was just wondering, and I guess it hasn't, well, I guess you could have really just said to my question, well, we haven't always been under, actually, you would have lost, you might have lost. My question was, would somebody be able to use that same talking points and arguments to say, you know what, this proves why we should continue to vote Democratic, because actually you people have been doing good.
I would say no, because I want to know exactly what have the Democratic Party done to influence that.
Now, that's interesting that you said that. So would you be mad if I asked you the same thing in terms of what we were talking about? What did the rap, the themes have to contribute to the successes you mentioned? Why are you able to use those metrics for this and not the other?
That's a fair point, but at the same, yeah, what I can't give you props. That's a fair point,
Go
but
ahead.
at the same time, you do have those artists that have pushed education, that have pushed black businesses, that have pushed marriage. So when you,
Which
while
artists?
say what?
I was just saying which artists you mentioned. I was just asking which ones are you talking
Well,
about?
I mean, Jay-Z, he had a whole album, 444. You had Kanye, who dedicated the titles of his artists that was around education. You have your De La Soul, your Public Enemy, your Tribe Called Quest, Cube, even
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Drake. I don't listen to enough of his music, but those artists I named there. Lauren Hill.
Right. It's funny now you're mentioning these artists when I was saying earlier. So I mentioned the ratchet.
But we were talking about okay.
It makes your arguments. You should do that.
Wait a minute.
I'm just fucking with you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Nick, I was like, bruh, you're not
Uh,
John Stewart. You ain't gonna get me caught up like that. Stop.
hilarious.
So yeah,
Uh,
that's where I say again, you know, as a father to a 5-year-old, and I'm seeing some of the impact of these things, and and then seeing it with some of the youth that she's around. I almost went to jail a week ago because I was ready to go down there and beat the shit out of a 5-year-old boy, but he punched my
oh,
daughter in. Yeah, he punched my daughter in the lip.
here, sir. Play
I
around.
was ready to. Yes, I was ready to. It was gonna be on site, but I got talked out of it.
Potentially threatening a child.
You can't beat up a 5-year-old, man. Come on now.
Yeah, come on.
See,
I know
this
you
is
were.
where this is where I wish we were back. This is where I long for the back in the day when other parents could whip kids' asses when they know they did wrong. Because I so wanted to do that.
You hire another 5-year-old to whip his ass. That's what
Wow.
you do.
No,
Pushing kids, putting hits on the show's going down.
no. The cold part about it is I said I would turn to my son. Okay, yeah, he's 14. That's still too big. I was like, look, $20, go down there and whip his ass. No, I ain't gonna do that. I was like, man, I ain't gonna tell you what I said.
Well, all right, we're gonna shift. It's a good segue. Let's jump into some movie
you
talk.
just get suspended. I'll go to jail.
We're gonna get into the Flash. Big anticipated summer movie this year, The Flash. It was probably my most anticipated movie this year, and it flopped like none other, unfortunately. But I would say this personally, I enjoyed the movie. I didn't think it was the greatest movie of all time or anything like that. But in terms of just summer, I wanted to see the superheroes jumping. I enjoyed that. I loved Batman in the movie, both Batmans. I loved them. It was great to see Ben Affleck and Wonder Woman, and I was like, "Wow, this is just the Justice League is just doing an adventure." I dug that. And I loved when Keaton got to do his thing. Not all it made sense to me, but I did enjoy the movie. I even liked Ezra Miller in the movie. I
There
thought
was a Wonder Woman in that movie?
Wonder Woman was in it in the very beginning. She was briefly in it.
Is it a
Yep.
different one, or is it still Gal?
No, it
That was
was Gal.
Gal.
Yeah, it was Gal. Did you see the movie?
I have not seen the movie.
Ah, okay. Well,
Spoil away, man. Spoil away.
I'm not gonna go too crazy,
I'm
but
waiting
I
for
just
Max.
want to say I did enjoy it though. I did enjoy it. I didn't think it was terrible at all. Like it's not terrible at all to me. I enjoyed it. I want to see it again only because I just want to see the Ben Affleck and the Batman stuff. I thought that the action I thought was cool. It was a funny movie. It didn't take itself serious, but to me, it was a comic book movie, like really comic booky. Uh, but it was cool. But I can understand why some people were disappointed with it. But I don't really understand why it didn't do the way it did that bad. Because I don't think it's a trash movie at all, personally. Aunt Pooh, I know you saw this movie. What'd you think?
I have to echo your sentiments. It was a good movie. It was a fun movie. Sometimes I think Marvel has spoiled us, and maybe even the MCU fanboys is more to blame, where they think that every comic book film has to be this epic in-game Infinity War. No, it doesn't have to. This film had a great story. It had some good acting, some great action scenes. My only issue was Ezra Miller playing. Well, no, maybe I shouldn't put it on Ezra Miller. I should put it on the script and the producers because they decided that this is how they wanted Barry Allen to be portrayed. Now, I'm one that I've moved past to. Oh, we got to stick to canon. Oh, Barry Allen this, and that. But it's kind of hard to not to look at his portrayal of Barry Allen and say that's not the Barry Allen based on the fact that we had the Flash TV show in the early 90s. We had the Flash TV show a couple of years ago that just wrapped up. So when you have those two portrayals and then you get this character, you're just like, dang, I'm not rocking with this Barry Allen. And he kept taking me. I wanted to just go with what they were presenting to me. I wanted to go with the story they were giving me, but it just at times some of the goofy shit he was saying, some of they thought they were doing some nice jokes here and there. It just was groaning me, and I'm like, dang, Barry Allen, I'm not feeling this Flash. And then on top of that, they gave us two fucking Barry Allens. It made sense with the story and ultimately where they ended, but it was just too fucking much. It was just annoying to me at some points. But considering that they adapted Flashpoint, they did a serviceable job with that. It definitely, Mark, definitely not a true adaptation. They definitely wasn't canon. Of course, we know they gave us um, an alternate Michael Keaton Batman instead of Thomas Wayne. They gave us Supergirl instead of Superman. They didn't give us Wonder Woman and Aquaman, which to me, I'm sorry, I gotta call them out. Why did you give us Gail Gadot and Jason Momoa, but you didn't put them in the plot? I think that would have been good. But again, the story they were telling was there were no heroes. Okay, fine. But overall, I thought the story there really wasn't any slow points to this movie, and I give them props for what they did. It's just that between as far as why this movie flopped, I think it's because DC just has a bad reputation, and on top of that, there could have been backlash to Ezra Miller, where you don't want that guy to win, and so going out and paying a movie ticket for this film ultimately is helping him win. But trying to separate the artists from the art, they did a damn good job with this film. But I will say one other thing is that the ending, unfortunately, they should have changed that because it was way too similar to, I think it was season 3 of The Flash, where spoilers, where Sitar or Savar, I can't remember the Speed Force God ended up being an alternate Barry Allen. So it was just kind of like when we got to the revelation at the end, I was like, okay, I've seen this before. So it's kind of like, yo, and then on top of that, it's like we seen this probably like 3 years before they started filming this. So it's kind of like, yo,
See,
you're
I never watched this show, so to me, I didn't have that.
yeah.
Uh,
But I mean, for those that you are going to have that crossover with, it could have been like, hey, the TV show did that. You might want to change that up a bit. But it worked. I'm sure if you hadn't seen the TV show, it absolutely worked. For me, it does work, but I just felt like been there, done that. For
Why
me.
didn't they have the Reverse Flash as the problem instead of Zod?
There's a
I
different Flash. That's the problem, actually. I
Yeah,
just didn't want to spoil it for you.
yeah.
It's not the
Uh,
reverse Flash, but it's their version of something like that in a
Right.
sense.
yeah, and to me, I kind of feel like the big bad. Well, the big bad was this alternate Flash, but I mean the battle that they were going with. I think they would have been better served going with a Flash Rogues Gallery member as opposed to
Mm.
Zod, because I felt like I kind of felt like, why are you bringing in, like, the same thing with Arrow that they had with the TV show where they were bringing in Batman's role for Arrow to fight. It's like, wait a minute, give him his own characters. Why are you taking from there and reminding us of Batman when this isn't a Batman show? Why are you giving us a Superman villain when, well, I mean, they did have Supergirl, but it ain't Superman. So I just kind of felt like they might have did themselves a disservice by going back to that incident that we saw in Man of Steel, where they all
No,
had to come together to fight
see, I
the
actually love
Italians.
I love that because I love those other movies. So I was like, oh, this is connect. Okay, watching it, you can see the difference between the Zack Snyder did it and whoever they got doing this. The epicness and some of that is gone. But I thought it was an acknowledgement that yeah, that shit mattered. You
Hmm.
know, these are the characters you've been watching these other movies from. Here they are. So
One of
you know,
the
and the other thing too, this movie obviously was edited or reshot to hell, uh, which I think has an effect on it as well. Because they did shoot a thing with Superman Henry Cavill, they took it out. There was a different ending to it.
wow.
There's a lot of different stuff going on that they changed.
DC is in disarray over their film wise, man.
Yeah, true.
Well, I think
true.
with James Gunn and he's with the Suicide Squad and with Peacemaker, I think he might write the ship. Now, the who he casted for Superman, I don't know about that one. And I'm not taking anything away from the actor. It's just the fact that he looks like a young Henry Cavill, which is like, do you want to do that? That's kind of strange. It's like if Marvel casted someone who looked like a younger Tobey Maguire for Spider-Man. You're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, they got what Blue Beetles next,
Yeah,
and
and
that
then
seems. I don't
Aquaman.
think that I can't imagine that's going to be any better than this. They done come off of flop after so Shazam, this Flash. What was
Black
before
Adam.
Shazam? Black Adam didn't. That didn't had so many tanking, man. I think the public is like, I'm cool on DC. Like the last 5 movies y'all done shown me. So this
Did
Superman is gonna,
Suicide Squad do good?
but that was on streaming.
No, it wasn't. The Suicide Squad, the James Gunn one.
Yeah, that was a streaming movie that debuted on HBO Max. So
Really?
that was off the top. That wasn't gonna be a big thing.
Oh yeah. Well, it
But
said it did 168 million, so I guess it was dual. Really? Oh.
yeah, well, yeah, that was cool. But yeah, I mean, like, unless the Superman thing is something that's like unheard of, I don't think normal people are going to be like, "Oh, it's a new Superman." They're like, "Okay, another DC movie. Is this going to be any good?" Because the last 5, I'm not going to the movies. Just I've been burned 5 times. I'm not the 6th time. Nah. So I don't know what they plan to make this any special. I'm very curious to see what they do though. But
Well, I think there's a couple things going on. Like for me, Suicide Squad. Well, no, because there was Wonder Woman. That was that 1984.
that
That
was
was
another
different.
one.
Yeah, but for me, the Suicide Squad, Black Adam, Shazam, and The Flash were all good movies. Why they failed, I don't know. I think they were
Viewer
all good movies.
confidence, man. Viewer
Yeah.
confidence. Yeah,
I-
they're good.
Now, so
So
but
that's the thing. So their movies
oh,
aren't
and the
really
Batman.
The movies aren't the problem. It's something else going on that people are not responding, because The Flash is not a terrible movie.
And don't forget there was the Batman last year. Now that's a different universe, but
That was
still
bullshit.
DC. What? Now you say that, and I haven't seen that movie since it came
Very.
on
I
digital.
watched
And I watched it.
Bullshit.
It's a good movie, but it's not something I would rewatch. It's not a comic book movie to me. It is, but it's more serious. I'll watch the Zack Snyder stuff all day. I hardly ever watch that.
Wow.
But it looks great.
Didn't DC make an announcement that moving forward they're going to tag movies like that bullshit Batman and that bullshit Joker as Elseworlds type things instead of being within
not a part of DC?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm okay with that because that
Those
wasn't the
solid
Joker.
movies, though. The Joker was dope. I mean, it did $1 billion. It was good. They got the second one coming out. It's gonna have what's her name in it?
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. So it'd be interesting to see.
It's supposed to be a musical, which I'm like,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Play around now.
Who is she playing? Is she playing Harley Quinn or something like that?
Yep. And Lady Gaga is not a bad
on that. They had a great Harley Quinn. Fumbled that trash movie.
Dang, yeah, that is a good point, because you could have kept Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie was as good as Harley Quinn. But that's right. Birds of Prey.
You don't even remember that one. Yeah, it was straight trash. That's what I'm saying, man. The audience is like, I'm cool.
But they
watch it at home. Put it on.
She came back with the Suicide Squad. I thought she redeemed herself in there. But yeah, just gotta. Now I remember what I was gonna say. I think another thing that they were doing is you should probably stick with the big guns. You know, Shazam, while I enjoyed both of those films, he's not one of their heavy hitters. And Black Adam, I guess they were leaning on The Rock. But unfortunately, actually, you know what? That should have been a hitter. That should have been a box office hit. You got The Rock.
It should have been a JSA film.
That doesn't matter to the mainstream audience. Let's just keep it.
Again, you got The Rock playing that character. You got to build up around it because the lack of other people in it. Nah, man. You know,
but
there's not a lot to Adam, really, when you think about it.
But to me, it's like you should have stuck with your core. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and made Flash and Green Lantern your other big ones. I feel that's where they got sidetracked with Shazam and Black Adam and Birds of Prey. Come on, Suicide Squad. Even though I did like the last one, that still was like, why are you trying to do these things with these side characters when you have your heavy hitter core?
And as bad as their films are, they're killing it in animation. You know, the DC cartoons are excellent.
Have you seen that new Batman one?
Yes, I have.
Was it called The Devil or something?
Doom Comes to Town or something like that?
Yeah. Is that any good?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Check
that out. DC animation, they're killing it, man. They are killing
it. With that said, have you seen any of this new Superman TV show? Was it My Adventures? I watched. Animation. Animation's tight, but
yep, it gives me an anime feel to it. But the story,
that crap.
It looks cool.
It's like someone said, "Hey, let's do a CW show that stars Superman."
Exactly. Exactly.
It just too goofy. Very, very goofy. I got through the first episode and was just like, nah, I think I'm done with that.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, with that said, TV, what are you guys watching these days?
Well, I thought we were gonna talk about Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, we'll come back to that.
Oh, okay.
I've been watching the countdown on the Blacklist as that wraps up. I love that show. I used to hate James Spader. I really did. But I love the Blacklist.
Which one is that?
He's like
he's a detective or something?
He's a criminal. And he's working with the FBI.
Oh, okay. That sounds like years ago.
Yeah, I've been loving that.
Okay.
Well, I binge watched one of our releases, The Bear, a couple weeks ago. It's about
Bear was good. Bear
yeah.
was good.
Sounds pretty.
When I was done with it, I hit up the social media guy, the director in charge of that, and was like, "Okay, what the hell was this season about?" 'Cause I was like, it had no point other than to make me hungry. 'Cause it was like the whole thing was leading to we're opening a new restaurant. It's going to be high end, and some of the staff are going to get training so we can do this high end concept. And I'm just kind of like, okay. Again, it made me hungry as fuck. Maybe want to step up my game cooking wise, but I just was like, I'm not seeing where's the overall long narrative going. And then I watched a really good show on a Peacock called Based on a True Story with Kaylee Cuoco. She was
Mhm.
on Big Bang Theory. So what it's about is it gets into that whole true crime podcast genre. So there's a what do they call it? Serial? Yeah, that whole the true crime podcast thing.
Man,
There's
that's
a
all over the place too, man. I'm sick of those podcasts.
So there's a serial killer, and this wife and husband figure out who it is, and instead of going to the police, they're like, "We gonna make a podcast out of it. We gonna get him to be on the podcast, and we gonna get this out." And as you can tell, that shit goes left in a motherfucker. Like, how you
Mm.
gonna try to keep a serial killer in line? You gotta watch it because it just really is like I can't think of the word where it's really like a social commentary on this whole thing of people making money off of telling these true having these true crime story podcasts.
It sounds like Scooby Doo another format.
Nah,
And
but definitely
I
not like
hated
that.
Scooby Doo. Hated Scooby Doo. Oh,
Definitely not like that, but it's just kind of ridiculous where they're trying to control a serial killer to create a podcast.
can't be
And then
done.
he's pushing back like, nah, I want to do it this way. And it's kind of like, you really gonna try to debate with and push back on a serial killer? Like, you gotta watch it. It's hilarious.
Hmm. What's this called again?
Based on a true story.
Okay. Man, I don't think I'm watching anything actually. Like, uh, yeah, I don't think I've watched any. I watched some. I'm watching some anime stuff, which I'm not gonna get into, but I think that's about it, really.
I tried to watch Yellowstone. No, sorry, Yellow Jackets. It's supposed to be
Hmm.
Yeah.
the story is shown in three different eras where these this Yellow Jackets, I think they're a soccer team. They crash landed somewhere and they had to survive and then they got saved. So you see them before they
Oh,
got crashed, you see them
in
on
the
the
first
island,
episode.
and then you see them like years later and how they've been impacted by it. I got through the first episode, but I'm kind of finding it hard to keep going.
Hmm.
I hear great things about it.
Okay. Anyone seen Extraction 2?
It's in my queue.
I didn't see Extraction 1, so
Oh, it's the
I'm
movie with
behind the eight ball.
uh, it's like a
Really?
John Wick special agent mercenary guy kicking ass. It's a super action movie.
He's so macho. Okay.
Yeah. It's a
It's a
throwback.
macho film. Oh,
All right. So you mentioned Spider-Man. Which is this one, Across the Spider-Verse? That the full title?
Yep, it
I
is.
thought the last one was Across the Spider Verse.
Into the Spider
Oh,
Into
Verse,
okay.
and then you know what the last one's going to be?
Exiting the Spider Verse.
Beyond, no, beyond the Spider Verse.
Okay. Well, Pooh, man, talk to us about this sequel.
First of all, it is my number one film of the year. It did.
Whoa.
Yeah, it did. Now the first 30 minutes is a little slow and I felt disconnected from it. I as I got to the end, I understand why they did it. They were showing Gwen's background with dealing with her father and then her coming to reconnect with Miles, and they were showing what Miles was relationship with his parents and whatnot. For me, I found that kind of dull and boring. But as the story progressed and we got the plot twist and everything that was going on, I was like, Oh, okay. That's some good writing where they want to foreshadow and set everything up. So maybe I should just shut the fuck up and stick to social media. You know? But first of all, the animation was great. They had so many different styles. When you get to I call them the League of Spider-Man, they didn't take the lazy way out and just draw them all looking the same animated style. You had them in all different varieties. Of course, they brought back the Spider-Man Noir. They brought back they had the Spider-Man 99, they had the Spider-Man 68, and they were all designed in different style. The Spider-Punk, which I did not want to like him, but the stuff that we was talking, that was one of the I would say he was one of the that was for the brothers in there, for the black people. He was spitting some anarchist black power stuff if you were really listening to it.
What Spider Punk was?
Spider Punk, yeah.
He was
And
great.
just,
The
yeah.
way the way they drew him without the mask, that was
Is that
spectacular.
streaming yet?
Nah,
No.
not yet. Not yet. But just overall, and I want you to see it without spoiling the twist. It set up greatly. I had no idea where it was going. My only issue with it is the ending. It was like I think it was like an hour 50 in, and as we were getting to the revelation of what had happened to Miles, I was like, wait a minute. That's like this. I'm like, this movie going another 45 minutes. And I was like, no, these motherfuckers not. They wrapped that up as like to be continued. I was like, wow. That's my only problem with it. And like with Infinity War, there was a self-contained story. And it actually concluded, you know. Like they could have, in theory, they could have just ended the story right there. Thanos collected the gems. He killed everybody. That's that. That was a good conclusion to the story. But we know that they had to fix it. This one, there wasn't no conclusion to the story that we were being presented. Which this Miles spoiler. Miles is trying to prevent the death of his father in his universe. We don't get a conclusion to that. We have to wait to the next episode. Which I mean, hey, marketing it's a business. I get it, but it's like the self-contained story was not there, and they could have pushed it into they could have had something that made you want to see where things are going to go into the next film. But overall, I thought the animation was great, the storyline was perfect, and it has me ready for 2025. They said it's being delayed to 2025 to see how this concludes.
I would just say I agree with everything you said. I like the first one better. I reserve judgment on this movie until I see the second one because I think I'll really enjoy it, seeing it all run together. But the animation, just they stepped it up another few notches. Spectacular. I mean, it looked beautiful, man. That was work of art, man. I think the only thing I missed, I felt like the first one. I loved a lot of the hip hop and the music and imagery that was really incorporated in Brooklyn and stuff. And this one
You
is
know
just a
what?
movie, so it doesn't
Yeah,
have some of that part of it. But I missed that part. But, but yeah,
that's a good call. That is a good call. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just sick of Spider Gwen. There it is. I said it.
Why you don't like? That's so funny. That
I
is great.
never
She's
have
a funny
liked that character ever.
kids like
Kids love her. You know, it's not for me. I guess. I don't
Spoilers.
like her at
I
all.
I absolutely love old Peter with his daughter May. That was hilarious. And then Mary Jane was like, "Did you take our daughter on another mission?"
that.
No.
And it's kind of hard because he's like, it's like, what the hell is wrong with you? But at the same token, well, he is Spider Man, so she is in somewhat the best hands. But still,
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because one thing that this movie does great, and the first one does, they really capture the characters. Like you feel like they're real breathing. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like they really captured the people so well in these movies, and even in this new one, they introduced so many different Spider-Man type characters. But I really fell for that punk Spider-Man dude. I wanted him to be more in the movie. I was like, wow, that is a cool. He looks cool. His attitude is cool. And I was like, that's something that's kind of missing sometimes from movies where they just have like cool shit. Like you just like it. And I was gonna say, like, I wonder would they consider if Marvel would ever consider letting Sony make an Avengers movie in that style, man. That would be dope to me. Like,
You mean animated?
it doesn't have to be tied to the MCU. It could just be animated, just like the Spider-Man movie, but it was the Avengers, and you had all the heroes. I just think that would be incredible, man. And let those people that make this movie do it, so it has all the little Easter eggs, just all the little details and stuff. Imagine them doing like a. That'd be dope if they had a Jack Kirby styled animation like that, or if they did the Fantastic Four and they did it animated like that, and it's straight like the book. Like you could do exactly and make it look like the Burn or something. That would be.
You mean like DC did it with New Frontier?
Yeah, but yes, but even in this, to me, the animation is such a high level, and they really go to task with it. Imagine them if they could do a Marvel thing like that. Like that would be fantastic. But yeah, like DC does, or if and I wish DC did a big budget version of one of their animated where they really threw all the resources at it because they know how to
They know how to do
know how
it.
to do it. You know what I mean? If they did one for the theater and it was higher quality animation, and that would be insane. That might be the thing they need to maybe really consider. Like they done spent the last 15 years doing these animated movies. You know how to do it. What if you do one and they throw the budget that they would throw on one of these live action to the animation, and we're gonna do that for the movie and let that be the Justice League. And then you could do anything you want because it's animated. You don't have to. You know what I mean? Like they should try. But anyway, Spider-Man was dope. When's the next one come out? Like next year or something?
They said it got delayed to 2025.
Oh, gotta be
They-
kidding.
You mentioned, Mike. You mentioned the Blue Beetle movie coming up,
Yeah.
which is going to stink. I know that Marvel's doing a Wonder Man movie, aren't they? Or is that a series
I believe it's
on
a
Disney
series.
Plus?
Series
All
on
right.
Disney Plus.
All right, I'll
I
leave
might
it
want
alone.
to rethink that.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask. Oh, speaking of Marvel, so are you guys watching Secret Invasion?
Of
Yes,
course.
indeed.
What do you think, Big Sex?
I like it. It's funny watching Sam try not to say fuck, you know, but I like what they're doing with it. It's some definite clandestine, double dealings going on, and like I said from day one, the Skrulls are not your friends. No, and that's where we're at with that one.
See, the thing that keeps bugging me about it is they're mad. They're saying, "Hey, you haven't found us a
A
new
home.
world,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Bruh, you came to Earth. Earth didn't come to you. How do you expect these mofos to go and traverse the galaxy to find you a home? Like, come on."
Well, they're like, they're thinking send Captain Marvel out, have her find us a little something, and move us. But it's not that simple.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, which I really felt with the revelation of Nick Fury's wife, and she came at him as like, "You were gone for 5 years, and then when you came back, you left again." I was like, "Oh, come on, Nick, don't say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. What you doing, bruh?"
Yep. Come on, Nick, man.
You had to get it in.
Yeah.
But I mean, it definitely was a bold move. Killing off Maria Hill, who we've seen since what 2012. Spoilers, sorry, that did happen. I was hoping that she was going to be revealed to be a squirrel, but as we've seen that when they die, they eventually change, so that can't be the case.
Maybe she's a life model decoy like what's his face was in Agents of Shield. What is his name?
Well, I mean, I don't know about that because they did. I think the follow up, the mom was coming at her like that.
Her mom
coming
wasn't
at her-
happy.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question because I don't know. Where is Coulson at? Or
That's
is
his
he
name,
dead?
Coulson. Coulson is dead, I believe.
No, well, I don't know because I mean he's been in the Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
I don't know where it ended to know where that's at.
Gotcha. And what is this thing I'm hearing? It's some show called Echo. You familiar with
Yes. That's part of the Daredevil deal.
This-
okay. I'm going to go and spoil some shit for everybody.
Go ahead.
At the end of what was that? The Hawkeye show. they had him square off. They had Echo square off against Kingpin, and at the end you hear him screaming, and that sets it up for Born Again. What she did to him, she blinded him. So they're going to set up the whole Born Again storyline from there. And Echo is she's deaf, but she can see something and replicate it. She's bad, and they really fleshed her out in the David Mack Daredevil run. So if they're going to use that as source material, it's going to be great. And if they do the Echo thing before they go into Born Again, it's going to be good. I'm looking for Born Again. That's one of that's the best Frank Miller story, Daredevil story he's done. It's perfect. And if they don't fuck this up, they're going to turn some heads. It is a great, great story. Then from there, hopefully they'll go into the Bendis stuff. Ooh, yes, just gets better.
I saw this article or headline going around about the Daredevil, upcoming Daredevil. It says Daredevil stuntman thanks the MCU really hurting the character with cartoon She-Hulk appearance. Yeah, I think okay. He was on some podcast. He's a stuntman for Daredevil. I think that now that the MCU has taken over the character, I think they are really, really hurting it. If you watch She-Hulk, they turned Daredevil into a cartoon. It's all animated and looks bad, you know. I love CG to enhance real movement, but if you don't have any real movement, it just becomes a cartoon. It's just CG. There's no weight to it. And what always made the action on Daredevil so good is it was visceral. You felt what Charlie was feeling.
I
I
don't.
don't know if he's just sort of commenting on what he thought, how he was portrayed in the She-Hulk thing. Here's in an interview, he also revealed another reason why he thinks the MCU is not making things right with Daredevil. They really, truly don't want it to be anything like the Marvel Netflix Daredevil. So nobody that worked on the original series, other than the cast that they're bringing back, is coming back. And I mean, there were just some truly, truly wonderful that worked on that show, and I think they really added to the magic of that show. And I think Marvel is making a big mistake. But what you gonna do?
First of all,
So
She-Hulk has always had a comedic element to it, so I get that. If they don't have her appear in the Born Again thing, I'm with that. You know, and the Daredevil thing on Netflix had its moments, but now that it's in the hands of MCU proper, I'm expecting them to knock it out of the park. Just the fact they're doing Born Again tells me that they're serious about this.
if they follow the storyline, I'm born because
yeah,
If
that's
they
what I'm
follow the
saying.
storyline,
I don't
normally
think
they
they're
just
going
take
to follow
these
that
titles.
storyline.
Say it again, Ant.
I don't think they're going to follow that storyline.
why not?
I mean, so the storyline is Kingpin finds out who Matt Murdock is. He leverages what Karen Page, and
Hulk.
yeah, I just don't feel they're going to go that whole route of what we saw in the comic
They
book.
they may not leverage Karen, but someone's going to give him up. Now, I'm assuming they're going to go into this as if the Netflix show didn't exist, and that's fine with me. So if they go into it like that, and somebody rats Daredevil out to the Kingpin, and he just watches, I know who you are. Let me test the information here. Oh yeah, it's you. And then you just watch Daredevil spin out of control. It's great.
Okay, well, I'll definitely check it out. I just really want to see him and the Kingpin guy mix it up again. All that good
You know,
stuff.
I appreciate D'Onofrio's take on the Kingpin, but again, for me, physically, he's just not big enough.
Mm,
You know, the Kingpin is enormous.
right. Yeah. True. Oh, I did hear this one thing about their Deadpool 3. They said that Hugh Jackman is going to be wearing the comic accurate yellow and blue
From
suit.
Astonishing X-Men, yes.
Yeah, that's going to be
That's
crazy.
gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I can already see people cheering when he's like reveals that. And
I'm gonna geek out when that happens.
Like, oh, we finally get it after all these X-Men movies. The goddamn costume, man. But all right, any other thing you guys want to talk about before we get up out of here?
What happened to Q Storm?
I don't know. He texted me just a while ago, but apparently he's still tied up in whatever he's doing. So
See, I was gonna take a shot. I'm not gonna do it.
here you go. You got anything else, Ampu?
Nah, that's all I got.
All
Oh,
right.
I did see The Blackening, and I highly recommend you see that one as well.
But
Oh,
what?
okay. You know what? It's on. I saw it on my streaming thing. You got to pay for it, but it's not check it out. I watched. Actually, I showed my son. We watched Hollywood Shuffle last night.
We're gonna teach shuffling 101.
Yeah,
They
he
have
was
played a
first
rapist
he was like,
twice.
"What is this?" And we was in tears. I was like, "Dude,
No,
this is
no,
the
no, not
original."
like this.
And it's funny
What you
because
say,
you
Chad,
watch it now,
motherfucker?
you can see where all of the shit started from that. You know, the
Yes,
Living Colors, the Dave
yes.
Chappelle, all of that stuff. The Wayne brothers. It's just like God, what
I
a
just
you
saw
know,
Robert
bunch of
Townsend in
people.
something too. I just saw him in
I think
something
he has a
recently.
TV.
He
He
was
has a
in
TV.
he was in The Bear.
Yes,
He
Really?
played the sous chef's dad. Yes,
right. Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
that
Good
was
for him.
so cool to see him.
Wow. Robert Taylor, Winky Dinky Dog. He was like,
Man,
"Oh, Pop." I was like, "This is where Pops is from." Like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
one of the best parts was when they're doing the review on Chicago Jones and Temple of Dooms.
Yes.
Man, jumping off the bridge with his mother and not getting hurt. That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit.
We were watching it. I was like, you can kind of see the podcast. A lot of it is drawn from this. And I told him, I was like, I used to take this movie and put it on. I had it on a cassette tape, and I would just recite it over and over, play it over. I know a lot of shit word for word. I was like, yeah, man,
I
a lot
love
of the
that
jokes
movie.
in this movie. Yeah, there's some classic movies that you can go back and watch again, man. It's like, God, this is some good shit. What's something else I watched? Oh, did anybody see Indiana Jones?
The new one?
I have not.
Yeah, I
have
saw
not
it.
seen it. And uh-oh.
Well, it's not a terrible movie. And it was, I enjoyed some of it. I think it's a pointless movie, but it's well made. Harrison Ford is great in it. You know, I think the first 20 minutes is sort of a flashback, and it's kind of the Indy you remember. He's young, they de-aged his face, and it's just thrown in the middle of this adventure. And if you didn't know any better, you'd think it was an old thing. I was like, okay, you know, I've seen this before, but wow, this is a great sort of retelling or another adventure I missed. And then it just kind of goes into by the numbers. This is my opinion. I know exactly where it's going to go, and it's going to give us all the things that okay, here come the snakes, and here come all the you know, you're waiting for all of these sort of Indiana Jones tropes. But toward the third act, I started getting bored with it, and I started falling asleep a little bit. And it deals with time travel, and I was just like, it's okay. Like I could have stayed home and watched it. I thought it was great, but the thing is, I took the kids to go see this movie, so I ended up spending like $60 all told, and that movie is not worth $60 at all. Like I was hot about that. I was like, these movies really need to get a lot better because this shit is not cheap. You know, if it was going by myself, it may have been one thing, but you're taking your whole family to sit this and you get the popcorn. I'm like, and it was just okay.
I tried to watch the first Indiana Jones because I'm not a big fan of that run of films. But so let me get this right. He's an archaeologist, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Why does an archaeologist need to carry a bullwhip?
Well, because it's just you know, it is a play on the old adventure serials that you would go see. And so it was just an adventure guy, you know, it's just the same thing that Star Wars is. It's a homage
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
different
You can see the
genre.
similarities. Yes.
Yeah. So that's why he has, because it's kind of cool. That why he has to have the hat on just
I hate
right.
that goofy hat.
The
That hat
music.
was everywhere in 1981. Oh, I hated
Yeah, I
that.
mean it was huge.
Hated it.
That's what I think. It works for that, but I don't think in today's world it's a tough sale because there's not really much special about them, and there's a lot other movies that have taken that to whole other levels. To me, Mission Impossible is a modern almost play on indie in a sense, and they both sort of harken back to other cultural things. But it's a money grab, in my opinion.
Speaking of Mission Impossible, after being clowned at work about it, I finally watched the last three Mission Impossibles. What was it? Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout.
What'd you think?
Ghost Protocol was the best of those three. Um, I thought that the first two acts of Ghost Protocol was great. I love the setup. I love where it was going. It just didn't nail the ending. I was just like, okay, that kind of felt a little blah at the end. And then the next two, I just was like, okay, I love seeing these characters interact. I love them, the implausibility of the certain things they set up. But I just didn't have the big emotional investment. Secondly, I don't give a fuck about Ethan Hunt's wife. Forgive me, ladies. Fuck that bitch. I was like, kill her already. I'm tired of it.
Damn.
It's like 4 goddamn movies I had to deal with this chick. The first movie number 3, she was going to get killed. Movie number 4,
3 is my favorite.
3, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
4, we get the revelation of what happened, what we thought happened to her, and then we get her and we see her at the end of number 5, and then number 6. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I just was tired of her, over it. And but and we get great action work. I just didn't have the strong enough investment in the characters as much. Ghost Protocol, the best of the 6. Henry Cavill, that character, I can't think of his name, but I was just like, I was just kind of confused because I'm like, okay, he's the hitman, and then he became the main villain, but then he was the underboss, and I'm like, I'm not feeling that.
That's my second favorite movie actually, of those.
Well, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, he was definitely
I
putting in the
love
work.
when he cocks his arm and they're fighting in the bathroom. That was such a brutal fight. They had to double team the Asian cat because he was whooping Nate.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, the other thing is I'm trying to understand why the fuck did Tom Cruise have to be hanging on the side of an airplane? Like,
Because
bruh.
he's Tom Cruise, man. That's what they do in these films.
I was like, sit your ass down. Come on. Why are you doing this?
Listen, I think one of you guys posted like who was the top actor or something like that a couple of days ago. Or somebody posted in the Discord. And I think the person that was missing from that list, in my opinion, is Tom Cruise.
I agree.
Because that dude, I mean, he went from Risky Business.
Risky Business. Oh, yeah.
What was the one? Was he in Taps? He was in Taps.
Yeah,
Was that
he was in Taps. He was in
the
Taps.
kids took over the school?
Took over the academy. And he was a bit player in Taps.
Yeah. And then just worked his way. I think when he did that movie with was it Paul Newman, Color of Money,
Color of Money. Yeah.
and the one he did with Hoffman. Those are the ones where his career
Rain
shifted.
Man.
Yeah, he became. Oh, you want some serious acting?
Then he did Born on the 4th of July. Yep.
Yeah,
That's what got
he
him
was
over the hump.
he was known for that, and then he transitions into action. Like, huh? And he got it. It took a while, but now he's like, to me, I was like, he's one of the greatest actors. I mean, he's serious. He's done comedy, bit comedy parts, what he did in Tropic Thunder. He was hilarious in that too. Like that, and he's out here doing his Jackie Chan shit. Like, it's crazy.
I can't hear that song without thinking about Tropic Thunder now either. She hit the flow.
Right. Uh, but yeah, man, that dude, he been in the business. He's definitely. Then he had Top Gun, killed it last year. God damn.
I gotta. Now that I've seen Top Gun Maverick, I don't get why that movie did a billion. It was not that good. It's a popcorn flick, but to be the highest grossing film of the year, I was like, this movie ain't that good.
You know what? I think there'll always be a certain appeal to a movie like that every once in a while. You know, because it's not the greatest movie of all time, but it is a great adventure. Rah, you know, it's a patriotic movie.
America, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it has all of those elements, and the final battle, like the trench battle, and all. It plays like a Star Wars. You know, it's just like yeah, and then at the end, it's a triumphant thing. I think Americans will always respond to that, and when they do, they respond big. You know, and it'd be the most basic kind of movie too.
Let me turn the corner a bit here.
Mhm.
I'm waiting for my 4K DVD of John Wick to arrive. And again, Michael Dean, I'm blaming you because now I'm a full-on movie snob.
Oh, okay.
Because
You got a new
yes,
TV, didn't you?
yes I did, yes I did.
Right.
Badass too. But a friend of mine came over, and we watched. Um, I got a 4K of Heat, and he owns a
I got
4K. He owns a 4K on his Voodoo, and he's like, "I
That's the
want to
one I
compare." He's always
okay,
comparing.
I didn't hear this. Let me sit down.
So
Let's
let's compare. So we watched the first opening scene where they took the spoilers armored car.
mhm.
We watched that scene on Voodoo, and then we watched it on the 4K disc. Oh, oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
You need to get
I'm
this.
ordering it today.
You need to get this.
Because I have the 4K Voodoo one, and there's a guy I watch. I think his name is Shane Lee on YouTube, and he does 4K video reviews, but he'll
Mm-hmm.
review the digital version and the disc,
Mm-hmm.
and he keeps it honest. And I remember them showing pictures from the one that I have, and they made it like this is a little darker or something. Color grading is slightly different from the disc, and I was like, it can't be that bad. But now that you've said that there's a clear difference, yeah, gotta get it.
You know, I'm like you, Mike. Again, you made me. I'm already an audio snob. That's a given. But now I'm a video snob. If it's on 4K, I'm not interested. Be
They ain't
gone.
fucking yeah.
No,
And you
thank
gotta
you.
have the disc. You gotta have the
I have
physical.
to have a disc. Yes.
The sound is different on the disc than the compressed that's playing through the
Mhm.
digital. That's for sure.
I've repurchased a lot of stuff on 4K the last couple of months too.
Let me ask you this then. With that said,
Yeah.
what movie visually when you saw and you've seen the movie many times before, was there ones that really jumped out like, wow, this looks incredible?
So many. Off the top of my head, without looking at my collection, I'd have to say the John Wick films. I
Okay.
mean, they look
Do you
outstanding.
have the physical disc or you have I have
Yes,
the digital
I
version.
have the physical 4K of those, and
You got
I'm trying to think
four?
what else.
You got
Not
four.
yet. I'm waiting on four to arrive.
I heard that is a demo disc worthy. Like I said, that's ridiculous. Okay. Okay, big sexy.
See, this is your fault.
You're gonna have to have
Okay,
a 4K podcast.
that'd be cool. Welcome to the 4K podcast of
there,
podcast
you,
juice.
there
That's
you
right.
go. Man, okay, okay. So you into that. Yeah, man. I'm trying to think. What's your favorite, or I guess what's your favorite discs? Like for me, I can say, though it is not the most crispiest of all of them, but BVS is a showpiece for me. I like to look
See,
at that.
I go to Endgame.
In game,
I
you know
go to
what?
Endgame.
That's the thing. The digital versions of Endgame, Infinity War on Disney Plus are in that enhanced IMAX
Hmm.
thing. And I've heard people argue that they think the digital versions of that are better than the disc version because the disc version also is the crop picture.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
But
But
yeah, those
again,
movies are fantastic.
I put on Endgame, and every time from the moment I saw it in the theaters to today, if I watch it, they show that opening scene and Hawkeye's people disappear, and they play that song, from Traffic, Dear Mr. Fantasy. I'm like, oh, I know it's about to go down. Love it. Love that
Yeah,
movie.
fantastic movie. Yeah,
But again,
absolutely.
you have made me a film snob. Because when I talk to people about how I didn't see the last of The Walking Dead, last got 3 or 4 seasons. I'm like, if I want to see a zombie film, I will watch Train to Busan.
I
Peasants,
like.
be gone. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
you did this because yours. I'll say it on the air too. Mike Michael Dean's video selections are always good. Take heed.
Not always, but
When was the last dud you put up?
I'm sure Ant will jump in. Well,
I said the last two Mission Impossibles.
man, those are fabulous.
You tripping, man?
The last Mission Impossible and the IMAX scenes. That looks great. That's great. I was gonna say, yeah, what's the another showpiece one that I just got, and I'm starting to get a great appreciation for this movie is the Ghost in the Shell live action movie. Actually, it's actually a really good movie.
Wasn't there a lot of blowback from that when it was
It
announced?
was. It was unnecessary because I watched it the other day. I was like, this shit is tight. Like, wow. And it's kind of talk about some deeper themes and stuff. But it looks great.
American Gangster looks great in 4K.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that
Nice.
scene where they're in the club and Joe Louis walks in with his future wife. Remember that? With Denzel's future wife.
Okay. Vaguely.
Fine. Woo. Woo. Is that right?
You okay, Ant? Damn.
Oh, you can hear that? I thought. It was
Yeah,
me.
we heard that. Yes.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
It's
my
like,
bad. What the heck?
Jesus. Let's go on a podcast. This brother over here.
We got lucky. That was all we got. I'm just leaving it at that.
Lord. Well, let's get up out of here because I ain't ready to.
Yeah, Ant's got some intestinal things he needs to address.
Wait, but before we go, I mentioned this earlier. I posted in here. What's the most iconic opening rap line ever?
I'm
1,
ready.
2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the dough. That's one for me.
Thinking of a master plan. This ain't nothing but sweat inside my hand. That's what's up.
I got a couple. I mean, of course, that one from Snoop is iconic, but for me, the number one Snoop one is with so much drama in the LBC, it's kind of hard being Snoop Deal Double G, yeah. And then of course I gotta have a Tupac one. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting picture paragraph loaded. Yeah. And then of course, just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kind of odd. Those are my three I would go with.
Michael Dean, you tell me what you think of this. I think the Tupac one, and I'm not saying he ripped it off by any stretch, but I think that was inspired by "Don't Push Me, 'cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head." Okay, had to get that out.
The Hail Mary one.
The one Anthony just cited. Just the whole "Don't Push Me" vibe.
Cadence or something. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, a lot of people have bitten off of that.
Sure. Yeah. Shoot, Lotto just used it.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. All right, fellas. Well, here we go. A good one here. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've enjoyed this. It's been a while, and we're coming back now more regularly. So hopefully you enjoyed this and like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Fellas, thank you for being a part of this today. And work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.